Nobody that I know of in my field uses the so-called scientific method. In our field, it's by the seat of your pants. It's leaps of logic. It's guesswork.
Don't see the curvature of the earth.
Nobody...
GLOBEBUSTERS taking over. Bye bye moonlight and rubber. NASA so mediocre. Sorry, but your ball is dead. But your ball is GLOBEBUSTERs taking over. Gotta ride this roller coaster, but the truth is getting closer. Sorry, but your ball is dead. But your ball is. Get the shovel for the space hubble. Piecing up the puzzle. Need to bust your bubble. Evil gonna crumble, yeah. Sit down, be humble. Got the ball, you better fumble. You get mad cause I just fight about your uncle.
And then they call me the liar. I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable the pathetic techniques that they have to use to prove their heliocentric model.
Vibes at the president, Jeran got the evidence. Arrow slaying Jesuits and Zack is evident. That the earth electric and it's resonant. Your residence is heavens and I hope to settle in like some sediment. If we so wrong, why they lying to discredit it? That's not too intelligent. That's a guy, not an in court, but we ain't really in the settlement. It's time to awaken from the pseudoscience sedatives.
GLOBEBUSTERs taking over. Bye bye moonlight and rubber. NASA so mediocre. Sorry, but your ball is dead. But your ball is GLOBEBUSTERs taking over. Gotta ride this roller coaster, but the truth is getting closer. Sorry, but your ball is dead. But your ball is.
Inner World Productions.
Welcome everybody to GLOBEBUSTERS. It is time for episode number season 11, episode 9. Who are you going to call? We're going to open it up for you guys' calls today. If you have questions, concerns, comments, you will be able to ask us. Well, not all of us, as we've got 4 of us here now, but we're going to be losing one here in a second. And we've got the return of the great Landucci. First up, we've got Zachary, Good Times for All. Sorry, I'm really setting up late here. And then also, I started the Rockfin on my channel, not on GLOBEBUSTERS channel. So I'm going to switch that over real quick. So I will be working on that. But let's say hello to Mr. Zabala, Good Times for All. Zach, how goes it?
Hey, Jeran, everybody. Yeah, not too bad. I actually had the opportunity to flat smack someone today. It was perfect setting. I guess he was having a bad day in the house, a young man from down the road, about Jeran's age. And I walk out the back door to let the dogs out, and he's sitting on our back porch, just looking at the river. And I've talked to him plenty of times. It was no big deal or anything like that. And we just started talking about physics and science and this and that. And I explained to him how Einstein was an idiot. And I didn't say flat earth or anything like that yet. I started off with space is fake. That's the one that got him, because I was kind of hinting at the flat earth. But then when he said, but it's so big out there and this and that. I was like, yeah, but what if it isn't? And then I explained, thermodynamics and this and that. In the light, you saw it click in his head. He's like, I've always thought that. And they just told me I was dumb. It just didn't make sense to me. That kind of thing. And yeah, by the end, he might be watching the show right now.
Nice.
I know he's got the, he clicked on this link and clicked it, and then he did my channel. And yeah, I'll get him into more people's channels and stuff. And I made sure to tell him, hey, don't go tell your family the earth is flat. All right. Don't do that. There's like rules to this. And that's the first rule, is you don't talk about it, especially when you first hear about it.
You'll go run into it head first, and then your parents will that's all he needs.
Yeah, disown you and all that. Yeah, I don't want to be the cause for, him getting thrown out of the house and all other kinds of crazy stuff. So, but yeah, it was fun. It was really cool. He was really open-minded, and yeah, it just felt really good. I haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, it's always fun. It's good times. And we've also got, for a short time here, Austin Witsitgetsit. Austin, ¿cómo estás?
How's it going?
Great. Brother? Fantastic. No complaints.
Nice, man. Yeah, I'm actually a little stopped up today.
Stuffed up?
So, yeah. Yep.
Lovely. All right. And let's just and then joining us again, Thank goodness. We were starting to think he left us.
From the bottom of the hell.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Iru Landucci, everybody. Iru.
Hello, everybody.
How's it going?
No, I was sorry, guys. I miss you. I miss you, really. But the last 2 months was crazy. A lot of conference in South America. And then I arrived to Europe like 20 days ago, and I had like 5 podcasts. One of them really big, like 4 million of followers. There is the podcast is not released yet. I think in two weeks it's going to be released. But we discussed the flat earth topic and become a really hot topic in the Spanish community once again, because, you know, maybe in the last 1 year, the media and on YouTube was a little calmed down, but I don't know why. The how you say, the storm rise again in our favor. So I was participating, and that's involved, you know, going around cities and trying to, you know, be with the family and blah, 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 with friends. And I just arrived to Linda's house here on Swiss. So I trying to, you know, take the lost time on the last 2 months. So thank you for having me again.
We love you. We need more of your expertise as often as possible.
Yeah, I feel terrible with myself because I start doing things in Spanish, but I forget to, or not forget, I don't have time to do anything in terms of English. So sorry for that. Yeah, I have a lot of things to share, and I didn't find the time to, you know, editing my videos and start doing it in English again. But maybe with this kick coming back on, you know, on GLOBEBUSTER, I start again to make my stuff on
Kick in the pants,
for presentations and things like that.
I thought that I just saw Cami place a emoji that says Iru, but I can't find it. Where did you get that Iru emoji? It just says Iru in big letters. I don't know.
I never saw it.
Look at the chat right now. Aizen just put up Iru, GLOBEBUSTERS, Busters Unite. But what? This says Iru in huge letters? Oh, maybe that's... Oh, she just typed
all
that.
caps.
I thought I was looking for that. I wanted to post that emoji and I couldn't find it. Now I'm like, oh, wait, that's just writing. Okay. Got it.
Here
we go.
I realized that some people may not know what happened this week, but so I got flown out to Idaho to do a couple presentations at a bar, a saloon, Old State Saloon. It's not your typical bar, you know, like they open at 6 a.m, open carry gets like free coffee, you get discounts for open carrying like a pistol.
I like this bar.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, like they have like Bible studies there at certain times, and they have all kinds of like truther presentations. So exposing, like, you know, the pandemic, or modern pharmacia, everything you can think of. So it's not your average place, but and I have a lot going on, and I didn't know if it was going to be worth it and stuff, and so I'm like, maybe we'll see. And then I felt like, I don't know, this may sound weird to people I know, but I felt like I was supposed to do it. We'll say, like, I felt like I was supposed to do it, and then I found out that he was a believer. I'm like, oh, okay, this is what I feel like. I'm like, don't worry about it, man. It's all good. You know, I'm supposed to do it, I think, so let's just do it. And then I went out there, and right before I got there, they went viral nationwide because they launched Heterosexual Awesomeness Month. And so if you're straight, you go in there as a guy, you get your first beer free. Heterosexual couples get like 15% off. And there's like a heterosexual female night. They get happy hour the whole time. And they went super viral for that, like nationwide, like every, you know, like conservative news station you can think of. So yeah, pretty cool, man. What are the odds? And then I did my presentations. First one's NASALIZE, then FE 101, and then Biblical Cosmology the next day. And Ian Carroll, who's like, I don't know if you know who that is, but he has a like pretty epic mustache. This guy with long hair, he makes like kind of TikTok style videos and went super viral the last few months, certainly on X. exposing the CIA and Fauci and all that stuff. And he tweeted it out. He's supposed to be coming. He tweeted out the place. He made a video of it. And then it started getting flooded right when I was doing my biblical cosmology PowerPoint, like flooded. And X started unfollowing people. So basically they would pop up to like 20, 30,000 and reset them back to nothing over and over and over. It did it for like a day straight. So because they would have probably had hundreds of thousands of people, you know. But anyway, there's kind of what happened there. If you want to see that, I think they're on Run Boston Bears channel, but those are just the live stream, and they're going to upload like the full quality, you know, like the 4K, all that. But yeah, I don't know if no one knows, they can check that out. It was pretty crazy. It was so funny. These people were coming from like all over Idaho to support the Heterosexual Awesomeness Month. And they're like all chilling, having a good time. And then all of a sudden they just get swiped by Flat Earth out of nowhere. It's so funny. So anyway, just wanted to throw it out there. If you guys didn't know, you should check it out. It's pretty cool. And you should go support Old State Saloon. And
I was watching that night and was or with Run Boston Bear, and went over there, and you're right, their numbers are not correct on X. Like they were unsubbing people or something.
Yeah, no, like there are tons of screenshots and videos. I mean, I was one of the 8 people he follows, and it wouldn't even let me follow him back. You'd follow it, refresh, and it kept on following you. But what was crazy, I was sitting there with him, right? So like his followers would go up to say like 17,000, and then 1 minute later they'd be at like 1,000, and then it'd go up to 12,000, go back to 2,000, then it'd go up to 30,000 and go back to 3,000, over and over and over. They did that for 24 hours straight. So now a few of the followers have stuck, and they're like 40,000 and not moving, but they killed the momentum in the moment, right? So they still like accomplished what they needed to, which was stopping that account from getting like hundreds of thousands of followers. And of course, I have a bias. I believe in the scriptures, but I would say I thought it was pretty wild, the timing of it, where he just so happened to make a video right when I was covering biblical cosmology. So like all these people in the bar and going to their channel, they had no intention to pop up on someone reading Bible verses. I'm like reading Bible verses in a bar.
And the thing about it is that like anybody, if you need to prove to somebody that the Bible's a flat earth book, that presentation is all you need, because Austin just nails the points one after another, and you cannot have a question. I mean, that's what's weird, is that these guys who still go around claiming that the Bible says the earth's a ball, or that it just isn't true. They're just not being honest. They're not looking at the original Hebrew. They're not actually following the evidence. If you do watch Austin's presentation, which is only like an hour, it's the best, you know, that I would show anybody who says that the earth is anything other than flat and stationary in the Bible. And he just nails it with the seal, and then also Genesis, just every part of it. And anybody who's trying to make these claims, I don't know. Well, I know you said Danny Faulkner says that the firmament is an empty expanse, right? So
yeah.
The empty expanse is beat like molten glass. So
yeah, because they get the word expand from like it's like beating out metal that then expands, and it's so funny because they take it from the Greek word, which is stereoma. It literally means solid. So it just blatantly I mean, he writes for Answers in Genesis. I brought him up because he's one of the notorious. You have, you know, like McToon will say the Bible's not a science book, you know, and that's because, you know, frankly, I would say probably don't really necessarily believe it. There are people that cope really hard and they have to twist what it says, you know what I mean? And Danny goes that route. And it was only an hour, like you said, bro. There's no way you can fit it all in there. I could do 2 hours on just the firmament, right? Because it talks about how there are layers and all this stuff. And I just breezed through it, but yeah, it was pretty.
Rob Skiba's, I think Karen gave him 3.5 hours or something like that at that one Flattoberfest, and he still couldn't get his presentation in. He never did his full presentation, not one time.
Yeah, man, you can't like putting that together. I had to pull tons of slides out of it, and this is the reason though. It's because you go to the word, you read it in English, and you have to be like, okay, here's what the words actually mean. Here's where KJV mistranslated. Here's the root word of that word, and here's the root word of that. Here's what it literally means, and then here are the supportive contextual scriptures, blah blah blah. You know, but I threw a few in there. I don't know that people have heard before. You know, like it says the sun returns back to where it starts. And like, how does it do that in the heliocentric model, right? The sun will never be where it is at any given moment again, right? Because we're like flying through the universe.
The one that you said, where the heat of the sun touches everything.
Yeah, exactly. Everything's in the presence of the heat of the sun. There's a lot of them. I mean, I couldn't even get into them all, but it was cool. And then in that presentation, because I'm like, I could tell that I was kind of being a buzzkill, like I'm reading Bible verses in a bar that people came to just to like kind of push back against Pride Month a bit. So I'm like interrupting my own presentation to be like, and by the way, for those who don't know, science keeps catching up to the Bible. Said it was young, they said it was old, but then they had the great unconformity, or it predicted the anisotropic, distribution of light in specific crystals thousands of years ago that we discovered a few decades ago, blah, blah. I was like trying to break through Cognitus. And then there was the other group of people that were there as kind of like a favor to Mark that believe in the Bible, but not flat earth, and then I was watching them just kind of like coping. People just start coping. But yeah, I'll stop there. I made the point. I know some people don't believe in the Bible, but if you do, you got a pretty serious issue there, right? Because most people will say like, oh, well, they just didn't know, or they wrote through the lens of what they knew at the time or whatever. You believe that the Messiah came here. So he was present when it was made and supposedly is the Son of God. You think that the Son of God, the Messiah, came here and didn't know what the earth was? I don't know. It's all crazy. But yeah, anyway, you guys can check that out. I think it went pretty well.
And you said that they're going to put up the nicer copies, but I didn't think Run Boston's is a bad one.
No, it's not bad because they had like all professional stuff, but live stream's never as good. They're gonna they have my actual PowerPoint. They have audio fed through multiple ways, and then they have multiple angles, and so they're gonna put up like a final edited like high quality version. They're gonna send it to me to post as well, I think. So you can watch it there, but I think that'll be better. Yeah. And shout out to them, bro, because they could have very easily been like, okay, we're going nationwide viral. This is our 15 minutes of fame. Let's not do the flat earth thing, Instead, they like doubled down and pushed it everywhere. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very good. That's an awesome little organization they got over there. What's the name of it again? I forgot the...
So you have Old State Saloon and then Braveritas.
Braveritas is the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, which is Brave Truth. That's the group that does the presentations.
Very cool. And then I know you're off today, so I'll let you go finish your stuff. You've got something coming up this weekend, yeah?
Yeah, so the long-awaited debate, quote-unquote, with Professor Dave is this Saturday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern on the Quartering on YouTube. So like a quarter, ING, QUARTERING, the Quartering. I'll drop a link in the chat. But yeah, so he's got 1.6 million subs and like 400,000 on Rumble. Pretty big channel.
What time is it again?
What is it?
What time is it start again?
5:30 Eastern.
Okay, so I know if you're a VIP of mine, I know we've got our VIP on Saturday with Conspiracy Music Guru that starts at noon. So we'll be done by when that starts. So we'll finish right as that going into, or we could even listen to it as part of the VIP if you guys want to. But we'll probably end around 2:30 Eastern. I'm sorry, 2:30 Pacific, 5:30 Eastern. So we will all be there.
Nice, yeah. And I'll just shamelessly plug this. Whoever's a Miswit through like Ko-fi, you can be a monthly member. You'll get automatically put into my Discord with a Miswit role, and then we'll have like a little private debate after show after that. But yeah, it should be interesting, man. We'll see if I can keep my cool and actually get some stuff out.
Yeah, I think that his goal will just be to demean you as much as possible. They think that's a win. Every chance he gets, just saying, "Oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about and doesn't have a clue, and he's so stupid. He's got Dunning-Kruger." That'll be his entire evidence, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I think though, like, what if, imagine if I said, "Hey, so you said this, and this in your video or in your debate with Dave Weiss,"
mm-hmm.
and it's just patently wrong because of this, and this. Would you like to concede you were wrong? I don't think he could ever even admit he was wrong about anything.
Never.
And so that's just a very efficient way to expose him to the audience for being dishonest.
Yeah.
Right. So 'cause
And then
he said some things that are just patently wrong. Like no informed globe Earth proponent would ever agree with.
Right.
Like the math argument. There's quite a few.
So then anybody can then take clips and just make a nice clip video of basically him being completely wrong and then denying that he's wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Because I don't expect to win him over, nor do I expect like a person to sit on that debate and then leave being like, I know for sure the Earth's flat. It's not really about it. It's about like, oh wow, this is interesting. The person going against it's dishonest. Let me look more into it. But
I can't wait for the
so
robot polisher videos.
Yeah, so I actually reached out to him. I think he's going to make a promo video. So we'll start throwing out some promotions for it this week. And then, yeah, if you guys are on X or whatever, just try to help me get the word out. And we'll see if we can get a bunch of eyes on it. Because I don't necessarily know that either one of them are going to do a lot of promotion. I think that Professor Dave is kind of scared in the sense that he doesn't know how it's going to go. So it's not like he's going to post it to his video or his channel real fast. And then I don't know how much the quartering is going to promote it, just because it's like a polarizing subject. And if he promotes it so much, it may look like he's stamping it in a way. So it may be kind of up to us to get the word out.
And it's kind of funny, I love being behind the scenes sometimes, seeing how things work out. The way this went down from my perspective was Austin talking about debating Professor Dave 6 months ago or whatever it was. Sends him a bunch of messages, and Professor Dave just basically says, "You're not worth my time. I don't want anything to do with you. Go away." And then next thing I know, I get a message from somebody saying, "Hey, I asked Professor Dave to debate Austin, and here's what he said." And then they send me a screenshot of Professor Dave saying, "Austin's scared of me. He's afraid of me. He ran away last time. That's why he's a dirtbag." So then I message Austin and say, "Austin, look at what Professor Dave is saying about you here. He says that you've run away from me," even though I'd seen what Austin had already said to him, which was challenging him to a debate and that guy running away. So then when Austin went to Professor Dave saying, "Hey, here's the actual thing that you said, and here's what you're telling people you said. Do you want to fix this?" And then he had to do the debate. So I like to see when shit like that happens, because he's telling people, "Oh, Austin's running away from me," and Austin has proof that he's the one asking for the debate, and Professor Dave's the one running away. Do I have that order correctly?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, and it was like divine intervention in a way. I know that sounds intense for some people, but I think this trip's really important. But because the producer from InfoWars said, "I got an idea. You should ask the quartering." I had never heard of him, and that's a huge channel. He agreed, so that's like a connect that made that happen. And then he tweeted it out. So so Professor Dave was kind of leaning on he'll find a problem with everyone or whatever, right? But because he turned down MDD. But then once like this huge channel puts it out, it's like he was really trapped. If he could just lie to his people and then I be censored and can't really show his receipts, then he may have ran away. But it popped up on this huge channel, so he kind of got trapped into it. So for those of people that are like, "Why are you giving him any time?" and blah blah blah, I'll say this last thing. I mean, I thought a lot about this a while back. I don't debate McToon anymore. I don't debate FCP. I like these really dishonest, disingenuous people. I don't really debate them, but I have debated all of them at least once to expose them. And Professor Dave is like, I would debate Simon Dan at least once, right? And Professor Dave is, hands down, not even close, the most viewed channel with anti-flat Earth propaganda in the world. Gets propped up. You type my name in, you get his videos, blah, blah, blah. So I think it's important if someone's new to this and they don't know how bad the censorship is, they just naively go to YouTube, they're going to see him. And, frankly, the reason these people act so confident is because it's an effective method. If people hear you sound so confident, you couldn't be wrong, right? You couldn't be lying, that bold-faced lying. So, you couldn't lie so blatantly, right? So it works. And so we need expose, right? We have to have on record this guy getting sliced up and exposed for the people that kind of get caught in that like anti-FE, safety net they have. So that's my take. That's why I'm doing it, for those who keep asking.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great idea. Yeah, is it something you want to do every day? No, but at least once, like you said. And the guy is all that shows up in search results for every flat Earth video. So hopefully we can find some sort of clips that show him to be dishonest as the rest. But you're right, it is an effective strategy to just basically do what he did to Dave Weiss. And it was so effective that it actually got me the first time with Dave Weiss. I watched that and got about 15 minutes into it. I was just like, oh man, I can't listen to this anymore. Just, turned it off. And then when I watched Mindshock's version of it, and I realized that like he had even convinced me that he wasn't using all these logical fallacies until I watched Mindshock and he's pointing out every one of them. I'm like, holy shit, I didn't even see these. They just went right over my head because it was like almost his bully mentality was working. It was like, oh man, this
exactly.
Bullying.
Same with FED. And my wife one time was like, dude, if I didn't know you and everything that really happened, like I would believe them. I'm like, yeah.
Right.
Same with Professor Dave. He says it with such conviction and confidence, and he's gifted in that he has some charisma, a little bit of wittiness, and he's able to quickly respond and try to control the conversation. And that's all it was with Dave. It was like this. It was like tactics, And so I just don't think that that's really going to work with me. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, I think getting him to answer certain questions, or hey, when you said this against Dave, you were clearly wrong. To admit that now, at least you're getting him there where he has no real choice but to double down on his wrong answer, or actually admit that he was wrong, which we know it's not humanly possible for him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, man. Everyone try to share that out. When if you don't follow on X, you should. It's not great, but it's the best we have. And then we'll try to get the word out and get a lot of people there. And then we'll have a little after party afterwards.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. That is this coming Saturday. All right. Any final words before we let you get back to your wonderful day and your very pregnant wife?
Yeah, very pregnant. Nah, man, that's it. That's what I got coming up. So thanks for letting me jump on and tell everybody.
Excellent. Thank you, bud.
Yeah, much love.
All right, we're going to open up the phones here in a second. We'll let Austin. I mean, I wanted to ask Iru. Is yours to her? Yeah. Iru, so what else? What's at the forefront of the Spanish community? Anything exciting going on there?
Well, we are, like I mentioned before, we are addressing a few debates, and we are starting because it was like maybe in the English community it's more advanced, but here in the Spanish community, especially not when I say Spanish, I am not referring maybe Argentina, things like that, but instead, Spain. In that sense, they start making a lot of podcasts that reach 1 million of people, and thanks for a partner that we had in the Spanish community talking about not only flat earth but also things related with musical industry, Freemasonry, Rothschild, etc. He was invited to a podcast like 8 months ago, and start championing a podcast to other podcasts, and always leaving the seed of the flat earth, and recommend us to participate, start speaking about the flat earth topic. And suddenly a lot of these huge podcasts in the Spanish community start addressing the flat earth topic. So I think it's very, very nice for the movement. We keep growing, and I mean, it's not never stop. Maybe the media, they don't address again like in the old 19 or 20, like 2020, 2019, etc. Maybe that was a really, really champ in the media, at least for the Spanish community, and then they'll come down. But now we are entering in a new territory, which is the podcast, and that is a lot of young people and new people.
Excellent. All right, I'm going to be setting up here in a second for StreamYard, so if people want to jump on, if you have questions, concerns, which there's been a bunch. I have been overloaded with tons of questions on Telegram and people reaching out and very afraid and that I'm going to be killed and I'm going to have a plane crash around me and that there's people out to take life insurance money from me. You name it. There's just everything that people could ever say. And then I saw somebody in the chat earlier saying, oh, Jeran's going to pull a ranty. Anybody else think Jeran's going to pull a ranty? Anybody who's saying anything like that, number one, it means to me that they're not confident in what they believe. Okay. Because if you're confident like I am, that there is no 24-hour sun in Antarctica, period. There's not one. So if you're confident like that, then it's okay to just not give a shit about this experiment because they're not going to be able to show that. If somebody's saying Jeran's going to flip, Jeran's going to do this, then they must think that there's a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. That's what they're saying to you. So just remember that pay attention to who's talking to you. If people are saying that, then they don't really believe what I believe. They don't believe what I've been saying for 9 years. For 9 years, I've been saying there is no 24-hour sun in Antarctica. Why? Because it doesn't fit our model. Period. No one's ever been able to give an explanation for it or give some sort of mechanism for it. It just doesn't happen. Now, I'm able to say that and say, okay, now somebody's gotten some bravery and been like, oh, well, we'll pay for you to go down there. We'll pay for you to, okay, great. Pay for me to go down there because you're not going to be able to show what you think you are. And so I'm not even worried about necessarily going on the trip yet because I don't think it will happen. I think that there is no way that takes place. So that's where I stand with it. And people can ask questions if they want. People can have concerns if they want. But I'm able to say without a doubt that if I ever went to Antarctica and watched the sun go around my head in a 360, and then I have to turn around to see it, and it comes back around, and then it goes around again, and it goes around again, which I think is impossible because, again, why is it so snowy there? If there's 4 months of the damn sun just circling above your head, you would think some of that would get melted, so on and so forth. There's too many things that have already come to the forefront, that tell me that that's not a possibility, that there's a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. So I'm able to say that if I went down there and saw that, it would seriously impact my current beliefs. Seriously. And it should anybody. And anybody who says, oh, that wouldn't impact their beliefs, then I just don't think that they're actually being intellectually honest with what evidence leads to what model. Because really what we're looking at here is something that is a vast difference in one model versus the other. That's all. Meaning that in one model, it clearly calls for a sun to go around your head. And then in another model, it doesn't. So if you go down and you observe something and it matches one model and you're just like, well, yeah, that's a big evidence for that side, but I'm just still not going to acknowledge that. Well, I'm able to acknowledge that. I'm able to say, that would be something that would be very detrimental to my current beliefs. Something I've said for 9 years, something that other people have said for 9 years, that now they're all backtracking. So everybody that I've known has said, oh, there's no 24-hour sun. There is no 24-hour sun. Now this experiment comes out. Now what are they all saying? It doesn't matter if there's a 24-hour sun. Well, then you're just a flip-flopper and you're able to change your beliefs just to keep in your current position. That's dogmatic. That's everything that I'm against. I'm about following the evidence, and that would be a huge one if for 9 years the globe has been saying there is a 24-hour sun. It goes around your head in Antarctica, and I for 9 years have been saying there isn't one because it doesn't match my model. If I'm going down and shown that that is the opposite of what I've said, how could anybody in their actual intellectual integrity say, oh, it doesn't change my position? I just don't see it. But I get it. I mean, a lot of people are like, well, does it change all your other observations? No, not at all. It doesn't change any of the other stuff. But just like Dave Weiss talks about the 2 baskets, right? Oh, okay, or 3 baskets. We put into the works on a globe, works on a flat earth, works in both. That for the most part, everything kind of goes, if you look at the entire slate, they've got their explanation, we've got our explanation. And it comes down to really whether you want to believe men or whether you want to believe the mathematics or whether you want to believe your eyes. And there isn't something that just fits in the globe that is completely not fitting in any flat earth basket. There hasn't been anything like that. And this is one that if it were a 24-hour sun, that is the case. It then falls into this place of, well, that is a pretty big determining factor because let's just look at it this way. We know that, and Bob Nodell, RIP, love the guy. He's the one who told me from the very beginning, Jeran, I've been there. I've seen it. There's a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. I've been to, in the Arctic in the north. I've been to Fairbanks or wherever he was in Alaska. And there's another place. He was two places where he said he watched the sun go in a 360 degrees around him from left to right. Okay. So think of that. We have a north, where we call it the North Pole. that you can stand there and you watch the sun. It goes around your head in a circle from left to right. Okay, so we know what the flat Earth looks like. We know what the globe Earth looks like. So if on the South Pole or in the South, the complete opposite happens. You stand there and watch the sun go around your head right to left. If you're not able to say that one model matches that and one model does not, I don't know what to tell you. You're not being honest with yourself. That if you're talking about being in a north spot, doesn't even have to be on a globe. The sun's going around you, and then you're in another spot on the Earth where the sun's going the opposite direction, doing the exact same thing. That becomes a place where you would say, well, those kind of things must be opposite each other. They have to be. How could on a flat Earth, why would they be something going completely the other direction? It's just a reversed image. It's a reversed position. So there is a model that matches that. There's a model that matches that and has matched it the whole time and has told us that that's what goes on the whole time. None of us think that that's what happened. I don't think that's what happens. So that's where, to me, if you're not being honest, if you're like, nah, it doesn't matter. What difference does it make? Okay. Then just believe whatever you want, and doesn't matter what any reality shows us. You can literally make up whatever you want. You can just say, well, there's 16 suns. Okay, there's 16 suns. So 16 suns, and sometimes you can find a spot where it's going around you this way, and sometimes you can find a spot where it's going around you this way. And it doesn't matter to the shape of the Earth because we don't know what the sun is. It's a projection, and you literally can believe whatever you want. That's fine. But you're not going to catch me doing that on my channel. I think that that's intellectually dishonest, and I think that it's not following the evidence, which is the point of what I started doing from the beginning. Taking this wherever the evidence led me. Period. Excuse me. So I'm going to open up the phone calls. You guys can jump on. If you guys comment on that, you can go ahead, Zach. I know Zach heard you talking before where you said, does it change everything else that we've done? No, by no stretch of the imagination, but it should pull everybody back to the drawing board to where they're like, okay, our model is vastly wrong, as far as the observations of the sun.
That's when it comes to the sky. Like when I did my 8 months of really studying the sun, like trying to figure out what I'm looking at by, measuring it and taking pictures and sunspot rotation measurements. And I just went crazy. But I almost drove myself mad because the more I gathered, the less sense that the whole thing made. It's almost like however it works up there, it's not for us to figure out. It just doesn't fit into any type of model without really crazy optical stuff going on, like the coffee cup caustic and things like that. So if you did see that happen to you down there, yeah, it would definitely, change the way we think about it down there. But does it mean that the Earth's a globe? No, not in my mind. Now, does it? Yeah, I don't know.
Would you say it matches the globe?
Oh yeah, that would definitely match the globe a lot more.
Yeah.
But I've seen with the what are the hemispherical lenses? I had one dot turn into two dots, and it looked like it was going, but it didn't really go around you in the same direction though. It kind of splits and makes two dots and then comes back together.
And what I guess I'm not being clear about is that the only thing that would flip me is a very, very clear. It's the sun, and it's moving in front. I'm watching, and it's moving right to left, and it goes in a circle around my head. And I'm watching, and we zoom in on it, and we're looking through infrared, and we're looking through a solar filter, and it never hiccups, and it never deviates, and it is the sun. I was talking to Dave Weiss before the show, and was kind of he was kind of giving me some ideas of what they could do to fake it, but he kept coming back to the same place that I was, where I said, okay, but Dave, go look at the sun right now. Go outside and look at the sun, and tell me, can they fake that being behind you when it's not supposed to be? And he kind of kept getting to the same point. No, I see what you're saying. No, I don't think they can do that. So okay, that's all I'm saying.
Now, if you get a vision of the sun, especially with the solar filter on it, and you can see, it'd be perfect this year because we're in a solar maxima. Mm-hmm. So the chance of there being sunspots on it would be high. Right. It'd be better for them to try this in 11 years when it's at its minima.
Right. Yeah, that's where I kept getting is that. And again,
if it's the actual sun and you can record it and see the sunspots all the way around you, do that. That would be insane. See, I think
so. It doesn't happen.
We all say it's an amount down there,
and we all say it was insane. It's like it won't happen. That's the thing, and that's where he kept getting with Dave. But Dave kept saying, "Yeah, but what if it's every time it's behind you, it's covered by clouds?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's not proof of anything. Like that would be that actually hurts them." right? Like if we go down there and literally half the time it's covered by clouds and every time it's behind you, it's covered by clouds, that's evidence of a flat earth. And I don't think anybody would disagree with that. At least Duffy doesn't, because there's no way that we could predict that now. We're predicting now that the sun, when it's behind you, will be covered by clouds, that where it's supposed to rise, it will be covered by clouds, where it's supposed to set, it will be covered by clouds. We cannot predict the cloud weather in Antarctica. We've never been there. How would it be possible that I'm able to predict that? So if that's what happens, that is huge evidence against their model. And this is something they can't recover from if the sun sets. So, I have this, I guess it's like this little weird feeling that like, I'm like, is there any chance that they want this to come out? And I kind of think sometimes there is. And then I'm like, and nobody's gone down there and just filmed it set. Like maybe it's that simple. Now I know it probably isn't, but I'm just saying that if I remember Austin used to say like, oh, maybe they want to roll this out. He thought that they were going to come out with Flat Earth Truth eventually. I kind of was always against that. But then I started thinking, well, maybe they're just waiting for that catalyst, which is somebody proving them wrong. I don't know. I tend to think that the chances that we go down there and the sun goes around your head is literally zero. Maybe I would go 97.3, 96.4, somewhere in there. Okay. That the sun goes around your head. It would have so many questions that go with it. Why is the South different than the North? They should be the same then, because it is just a opposite position then. Why is there a huge ice continent down there and not a puddle of water like there is in the North? Why is there no animals in the South? Why is there no flowers, trees, branches, nothing in the South? Why is there no undersea cables in the South? Why is there, you could just keep going over and over again through these.
There is a lot of moon rocks in the South, man.
A lot of moon rocks, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So again, it's just one of those things where I don't think there's any chance. And I feel like if we just take the position of, well, no, it doesn't matter to us and we don't really care, I think it looks bad. I don't want to hear them saying my name, every Glober saying my name constantly. Is Jeran's afraid of his belief? I'm not afraid of my belief. In fact, I've said it for 9 years because I'm strongly held in my belief. So if somebody wants to pay for me completely, every penny, and I don't have to pay a penny on my own to go down there and to show it, I think these guys are biting off more than they can chew. I think that they think, if you're a Glober, you think without a doubt, it's not that you think there might be a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. You know that there is, because your model depends on it. And you've been so sure of yourself. You've been calling other people's names. You've been calling people stupid. You've been calling people, you're so sure of yourself. So it's not like they've seen it or there's evidence that leads them to that. They feel strongly as they can possibly feel that has to be the case. So they're just laughing, saying, yeah, go down there. You're going to. So I think they bit off more than they chewed. They're going to find out that it's not so easy. And there's no way you just go down there, pop off the plane, and there's the sun going around in circles around us. No way. No, if that was the case, there would be video after video of it. ALE would have video of it. It would be all over the place. They'd be using it to teach students in class. It would be everywhere. It's nowhere. It's nowhere. So that tells me that you certainly cannot just get off the plane and watch the sun go in circles around you. So how are they going to go about faking it? Who knows? I don't think that it's possible to fake by putting up a fake sun that sometimes, unless you put up a fake sun behind some clouds that the entire time it's behind you, it's behind the clouds, then you're right. You wouldn't be able to see the clouds. Is that the real sun? Can't tell. But if it opens up at all and you're able to see it's the sun that's behind you, I don't think that can be faked.
Can I share the screen real quick, Jer?
Yeah. Let me go over there.
So I came across this and it just, back in 2015 when I looked for a 24-hour Antarctic sun, because I was like, that's the nail in the coffin that'll shut these, I was still trying to.
Hold on.
They've had it, and this is 2011.
Hold on 1 second. For some reason, I've got some screen up that's not blocking this for me. Why doesn't it show your screen? What's okay, there we go. I got it now. You're up. Good.
So the Antarctic Sun, United States Antarctic Program, yada yada yada, blah 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 blah. 50 years and counting, and this is from 2011. A cosmic ray observatory, longest running experiment in McMurdo. And it just goes on to say what they do. They measure the cosmic rays hitting in the atmosphere, blah 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 blah. Stuff like that. But if there was a 24-hour sun going around you, they should have video of it.
Right.
I mean, it should have been there already. For 60 years, they've been down there. every day recording the sun as much as possible. Or this is more an observatory for counting whatever they were saying, neutrinos or
Neutrinos
blah
in the
blah
ice.
blah blah. But it's a cosmic ray observatory. You know, they're studying the sun and what it's doing to us. So you don't think that one of these scientists in the last 60 years have been like, hey, let's put a camera up and show people the 24-hour sun?
Somebody's saying
I want to be the
here-
first person.
Somebody here is saying, Jeran, it's a scam. Do not do it. I never comment, but I have to. It's a scam. You get no footage, nor the where we are is not known. Okay, I don't really follow what you're saying there, but if we get no footage, that's evidence for us, right? First of all, it's the most arid place on Earth, which again, I'm not claiming to know how clouds work exactly. I think that they're made of moisture. I think then that the arid places would be the place that you would expect to have the least clouds. However, when I watch any film from down there in the summer, it's clouded up the sky all the time. But they don't even get rain there. It doesn't rain or snow. That's crazy. That's crazy. And yet we're supposed to see all these clouds and that the sun's going to be blocked by clouds. So I don't really know what you mean by that. And then you said, sorry, I lost this place. Where was I? It's a scam. Where did I go? I just had it. What did he say on the second part? Oh, there it is. You get no footage. Okay, we talked about that. Nor the where we are is not known. So the thing I keep hearing from everybody is you won't know where you're at. There's no, okay. So you have to understand there is a place called Union Glacier. It is shown to be in Antarctica. We have to fly down to Punta Arenas. That's at the very tip of South America. When we're there in Punta Arenas, we will know we're in Punta Arenas. Once we're there, it's a 4.5-hour flight. So we can't go east. We can't go west. Can't go north. We'd be back in South America. The only place to go would be south. And if there's nothing but a snow and a blue ice runway, there's pretty much no doubt that where you're at is in south. It's in Antarctica. So this is why I've considered it even. It's because it is kind of thought out that this is one that can't really be fooled. Somebody else said, how do you know they're not going to take you they could knock you out and then take you to the North Pole? No, the North Pole, the sun goes the other way. This is why if somebody doesn't,
the North Pole, you don't see the sun in December.
Right. It's going to be dark there.
That too. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's one of these things that you have to grasp both models. You have to grasp why we say what we say about there not being a 24-hour sun. I showed last night with the coffee cup caustic and the ray diagrams that it does make sense that the sun rises south. If you go back to like when Jake, the asshole, and Cool Hard Logic were going on and on about the pizza map and saying the sun rises south of east and sets south of west in the south. Let me just show where that is explained in the ray diagrams. It's not
until
explained.
you showed me this. That's where this almost drove me mad.
Right.
Like when I was studying the sun, it's like there's no way it does that down there, and I keep seeing videos of it. It
seems to do that, which is weird. Put this over here, and even Ira would claim that this is what happens down in Argentina. Ira, are you at the southern more, or are you northern more? Because Argentina is kind of long, isn't it? I guess I should probably know the location.
Yeah, it's like super long.
I don't know where he's at in Argentina. Okay, so just showing this real quick. If we go with a glass, we're going to go with a circle just to get a atmosphere like. Here we go. Okay. And try and get this on screen and move it. Oh, shoot. Delete. Just going to move it to where you guys can see it up a little bit there. Okay, now you can see. All right, so if we are looking at the flat Earth like this, and I'm just going to draw a quick drawing. So let's say that we've got North America here. Sorry for my bad drawing. And then South America is here. Okay. And then you've got, Africa, and you've got Australia, whatever. Okay. So if we fly down to Punta Arenas here, and then we fly out 4 hours somewhere, well, we probably didn't go over here, and we probably didn't go over here. And if we flew north, we would be back at the equator, probably not going to be looking like Antarctica. And if we go south, we're going to be somewhere here. Okay. So then we can say that the sun is going around this way. And let me grab a light source. We're going to do a point source of light. Oops. Finish drawing. Light source, point source. Okay, there we go. And let me up the arrays a little bit. And array density. Okay, so now we bring it in here and we look at the sun again. It's not, it doesn't have, this kind of has an infinity carry. Obviously, the sun is going to have a much, I can even kind of do like that, little smaller carry of light. So as the sun comes around, and what you can do is you can put this button here, which says seen by observer. And I'm going to grab an observer. And I'm going to put him out here to kind of look at this. Oops, move. I just dropped another light accidentally. Hold on. There we go. Okay, so if you look, when this sun comes around, watch the orange. The orange is the what the observer sees. Okay, so the observer here doesn't see the actual sun. He sees the sun here, which again, I did something wrong. I was talking about when somebody is actually at South America. There we go. So that's kind of what we were talking about. Let me go light source here. Oops, get out of there. Okay, so let's put them right off there. All right, so when this thing comes around, you can see the orange sun. See how it's rising here? So it's rising south of their west, and then it's going to arc over their sky in the north, and then it's going to set south of, watch this setting south of west. Okay, now the problem is that this stops as this sun's going away from you to go all the way around the earth and come back again this side. There is no observer able to see behind them this sun appear to go behind you. And if it did, how would it would have to like match up. You only see the orange part, you only see the orange part, you only see the orange part. Even if you had another sun coming from this way, from another outer land or something, well, it would have to coincide perfectly to match with this one, that it passes by and they become one, but you couldn't have seen it coming and you can't see it going. And then it has to rope around your back. So that's the problem, and why these guys bit off more than they can chew. What happens is we're going to actually see, in my opinion, here comes the sun. We're going to see it rise, and then it would stay up in the sky a long time. We'd see it cross our horizon. It would start to set here. It's kind of, you might even start to see it coming this way, and then they'd say, all right, everybody go to bed. It's 10 p.m. Lights out, camp lights out.
Yeah.
We get up at 8 in the morning. You guys got skiing to do tomorrow, and you've got a long day in front of you. Go to bed. Everybody goes to bed, and then you have what's called the coffee cup caustic. The coffee cup caustic is when this thing gets too close to the outside. Let's go with, instead of seen by observer, we're going to go with all rays. Okay, and when this thing gets too close to the outside, this happens. And then you have a 24-hour of light as this sun travels the backside of the earth. So everybody here in their tent thinks that the sun is out, thinks that the sun is there, calls it a 24-hour sun. It's daylight for 24 hours, but nobody would actually see the sun in the sky because it's not there. And then it would come back around 7 in the morning or so. It's going to begin to do that rise that we just talked about. Whereas you're going to see this orange start to rise. Everybody comes out of their tent and there's the sun again. That's your 24-hour sun in Antarctica. That's what I think happens. But I told people I encourage you to use this ray diagram and try and get the sun to go behind our back, because maybe there is a mechanism, but I can't figure it out. Maybe we need to put some sort of mirror back here. What if you had a mirror circular arc, that the dome is some sort of mirror like this?
What if you put the observer spot inside the circle?
This one, like in here? Well,
yeah.
Usually then you would be able to see the actual sun, right? So you're not going to see, oh wait, where's that? See how the orange dot behind him? But it's moving, again, it's moving the wrong way.
Yeah.
So again, that's why it gets kind of, oh, and that's, I guess because now I have the mirror, it might be the reason that that's happening. Let me get rid of the mirror. But see, if we pull here, then you can see this orange dot appears here, but it's moving in the same direction. So that's not going to fix it. You have to find a way that as the sun comes this way, it somehow projects itself on the back wall going this way, which I just haven't seen yet. So again, there's not when I say go to the drawing board, I mean, I don't think we need to do that. I think you're wasting a little bit of time because I don't think it happens yet. But this is the kind of thing that if it did happen, we would have to come back and all start to figure out how in the hell could it be that is the case. And if you don't care, if you're just like, well, the sun can do whatever it wants and it'll never change my opinion of the earth, then that's fine. Then don't worry about this and don't even pay any attention to it. When we start talking about it, tune out, go somewhere else, watch another channel. Because there's no reason to stress yourself out about it. I've had people who literally like stressing themselves out. And it's like, if I'm not even stressing myself out, you certainly shouldn't be. Okay. And it's like, I'll stress out when November comes and it's like, shit, has nothing happened? Is this trip still going on? You might start catching me stressed out a little bit. I don't think there's any chance that it happens. And so, trying to figure out a way, can we get that light to go backwards? I don't know if you can do that. And again, you have to realize the difference between, you guys can all use your eyes. You can all observe. Go outside, watch the sun today, and just look at it. And now imagine that it started moving the other direction. And it just went.
People would freak out.
Yeah, and it just starts going around you in a circle. That is crazy. None of us have ever seen the sun, well, at least unless you've been in the north, do a circle around your head. So if you were like, I'd go down to Antarctica, and if I saw the sun do a circle around my head, it wouldn't mean anything to me. Then you're just a different person to me. You're just a different person to me. That would be either the earth is a globe, or God wants you to believe that the earth's a globe. There's really no other reason why there would be a spot in the north where the sun goes around your head in a circle and it moves left to right. And then another spot on the earth where the sun does the complete opposite thing. Now it goes around your head right to left and does it for 24 hours. That is significant to me. That is not the kind of thing that would make me go, I don't care what that does. It means nothing to my life. And no, it would be significant.
So how deep into Antarctica is the base?
It's 600 miles from the pole. 600. It's 80 degrees.
80 degrees. I was thinking, what if you had people leave from South America and people leave from Australia and meet?
Somebody told me that something like that was happening, but I don't really know the details of it. I'd have to find out. I guess I haven't been paying attention, but somebody told me, I heard that there's going to be people leaving from South America. I'm sorry, leaving from Australia and leaving from South Africa that we're going to coordinate with or something. I'm like, I've never heard anything like that. So I don't even know what they're talking about. But yeah, I see what you're saying, right? Because then you'd be having all three people. Because here's another way to look at it that to me is why it's significant is, oh shoot, you can't really see this. Let me move the screen down. Oops. Can I move this whole thing? No. Trying to move this whole thing. I don't know how to do that. Wait, move. No, it's more. There's no move. Okay. So I know you can't see this. I know it's down here at the bottom, but what's kind of interesting is that we know that as the sun, let's say we get there, we're out here, where you see my mouse down here. We're out there, we're watching, and we know that as the sun passes us going this way, okay, that as it gets to about here, we know that Australia is about to have sunrise. And we know that after that, it's going to be noon in Australia, and so on and so forth. So if the sun is behind us, we are here, and the sun is behind us, yet it's rising in Australia. What does that mean? What model is able to explain a sun behind this person and lighting up something over here? There is only one model. By the way, thank you to Doug, Crazy Doug, for the $50 Ko-fi tip, ko-fi.com/globebusters. He says, a $10 donation. I may have missed it, but it showed the sun start going behind the observer, right? Is it just going the wrong way? Is that correct? I may have missed it, but it showed the sun start going. I don't think we saw it start going behind. You mean like when whoops, I hate that you have to tell this thing what you're doing. Is it this one? Okay, so when we put it here and we had the sun coming around, see it rising there, which is, if you go look at, let me just show you real quick. If we go look at SunCalc, and we're going to go and look at December. Go here, December, we'll do 14th. Okay, so if you look at what happens, get down here. Hello? Hold on a second, I don't know why it's not moving. There we go. There we go. Come on back up. Wow, this thing's all crazy. Not working. All right, here we go. Move left. So I'm just putting this in south. It's not letting me go down any further. But if I go there and you just look at the sun, look what it's doing. It rises south of east and it sets south of west. Now we go over to the ray diagram and we see that's exactly what I'm showing. Oops, there's the person. Watch it again. As the sun comes around on a flat earth, look where it's rising. Watch the orange, which is the virtual image that you would see of the sun. It goes like that, straight across, straight down. And this is what I tried. All the people who abandon the AE map, the only reason they abandon it is because they said the sun rises south of east and sets south of west. And we told them, yes, but in an atmosphere, that's what you would expect to see. In a personal atmospheric dome, that's what you would expect to see. And that's because of exactly this. The sun's coming around this way, and you watch it rise here, goes right out in front of you. At noon, it would be here. And at set, it would be heading off south of west. Now, the sun's going this way, but somebody, Wolfie 6020 in Australia, but the sun, I have it here with my compass. It's setting south of west. Yeah, this is setting south of west. Gotcha. Okay, fine. And then it's going to go off and be gone. But somehow, it doesn't ever go behind you. And this is, remember, we have this mirror here, which let's take that out because who knows? But again, I want people to play with this. Maybe what if we arch a mirror this way? Okay, so let's say it's like a bottom of a dome that way. Let me grab this. Oops. Get out of there.
That looks like there's a sun there behind you. Look at that.
Let's see. So we come this way. Yeah, but again, it's not going the right direction.
Yeah, not going the right direction. Yeah.
But again, somebody can play with this. Now it is.
Now, oh, snap.
Let me see here again. Well, that's kind of weird. And and again, if there were something like this, well, then the problem would be as this sun comes this way. Now look, we have two. So right away, you would say a person here in the north, we'd be looking at the sun and turn around and say, wait, the sun's behind us as well. So all that stuff would be great evidence. It's good for, to me, I just look at it as all positives. And yet everybody's flipping out and saying the weirdest things I've ever heard. Somebody said, oh, Duffy's going to buy insurance policies for you in Austin, and then he's going to crash the plane and collect on the checks. I'm like, will you shut the hell up? What kind of world do you think we live in? You cannot buy life insurance policies on people that you're in charge of their flight, and then the flight crash and you collect. So shut up. But that's what the kind of things people think. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Do you remember the National Enquirer and those types of magazines before all news was fake news? And but they had these crazy articles in them. My grandma used to read them all the time. Like she got one every month or whatever. She had like 2 or 3 of her. She called them her papers.
And my grandma used to call them her stories.
Stories, yeah. I remember one back in it was the early 90s, maybe, somewhere right around there. And one of them said that a NASA scientist went crazy out in Antarctica and was reporting that the Earth had 3 suns. And I cannot find that anywhere.
And I've actually seen video of what looks crazy. It looks like, and it always happens in the snow, in the ice, right? Where it looks like there's like this sundog happening, but there's like 3 bright spots of the sundog. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, almost like it is 3 suns. So again, this is why it can be a lot of speculation and things like that. And if somebody is willing to pay, because here's what I think is going to happen. This is what I ultimately think is going to happen. I don't think the trip will happen. If it does happen, then they will just cloud up the skies completely. We'll all go down there. We'll all get set up. We're like, man, we hope this weather clears. It'll be 3 days of clouds. We'll all come back. Duffy will have lost $45,000, $90,000, $135,000 for nothing. And then it will discourage anybody from ever going down there again. Because everybody will say, I'm not going down there. The last time somebody tried, they spent $145,000 and didn't show anything.
And nothing happened. Yeah, that would be like a win for them in that sense right there.
Correct.
That you go down there and everything's all clouded over and you guys don't see anything.
Right.
No, it's going to, like you said, deter anybody from wanting to throw up that kind of money for that possibility right there.
Right. And I think that that's a better position for us than to be in the position that says, oh, none of these flat earthers even stood behind their beliefs. Nobody even went down there. Right. I'd rather be the one who says, oh, they did go down there and they didn't film anything. It was just mucked up the whole time. And that's evidence for me that how would I be able to predict that in June by saying, oh, by the way, when we go down there, it'll be cloudy all 3 days in Antarctica. We won't be able to film the sun. Me just saying that now, if that happens, is weird. I'm not a meteorologist. I cannot predict the weather 6 months ahead of time in Antarctica that I've never been to, that I don't understand at all. Sorry, I don't have the ability to predict that. So that's why I don't have any nerves about it. We have not accepted, in case people have wondered, are you accepting we have not, Austin has a couple things he wants to clear up and make sure that all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, because he has found something in the bylaws that basically says if there's a storm or something and you have to stay there or have to be extracted on a different day, that you're responsible for all costs. So we would have to write a contract explaining that if any unforeseen things like that happen, that we will not be paying a penny, which has been our position the whole time. I don't think we'll have a problem with that, at least as of yet. But anyway, so we have not accepted yet. There's a couple more contingency things, and it's not a big deal to us. Like if they decided, Jeran, you're taking too long, we're now going to ask Hibbler. I don't care. It would actually be a little bit off my plate, so I don't care. So
yeah, I mean,
It's just not a
Really?
big deal to me. I'm
You're
not stressed about it.
California boy, by the way, too.
Yeah, I know. You gotta not.
And you're going to be in a tent.
And
like,
that I can
The
do. Well,
warmest part of the day is 30 degrees.
well, no, the tent is 72 degrees, so I would just sleep in the tent. I agree 100%. It would be definitive, and that someone needs to have the balls to do it for Flat Earth. That said, it's a huge red flag that Duffy is not going. They will never let the truth come out that easy. Implore you not to get on a plane and go. If he won't go, he goes, or it's no go. That is, just so people know, that is Austin's position. So it becomes by de facto mine, because Austin has said it makes no sense to him that Duffy wouldn't go. Why would somebody pay for another person's trip and not go? I agree. So Austin said, well, I'm only going to agree if he goes. And then, of course, his position is, well, I told my wife a certain dollar amount that I would spend. By you adding Austin, that took my ability to go away. So now he's like, I would be way over budget. So, but we say, okay, well, then crowdfund it or something. Austin and I are both under the same opinion. We don't think the trip will happen, and we think that if it does, it will be clouded over. So therefore, neither one of us feel comfortable in any way crowdfunding with our audience, because it would be the equivalent of saying, hey, put money into this pot that will go ultimately to nothing. And we don't feel comfortable doing that. I don't want my audience to donate to what I strongly feel will not happen. It's a rude thing to do. Like, oh, put money in this, and then, we're not going to get any footage from it.
Yeah,
So-
you can get some really cool toys with that kind of money.
Yeah. Well, gee, I mean, this is another thing that I keep saying is that the money is outrageous. Let's just think about what you're paying for. It's $31,500, and it's only 3 days. Well, it's 14 through 18, but you fly from Punta Arenas 4.5 hours to Antarctica. You land there on a blue ice runway. You get out. You're on the snow. You got your gear. They take you to your little tent. Here's your tent. Now you sleep in a tent for 3 nights. You have to shit in a bucket. You have to piss in a glass bottle that has your name on it. Then after 3 days, they fly you back to Punta Arenas. Congratulations, $31,500. Did you get a personal escort that while you're there? No. Did you get? There's nothing else that would even come close to costing that much. It's absolutely
And I bet you
insane.
can't walk 200 yards away from your tent. I'm sure there's like
Yeah, they've got
roped
like
off
all
or marked off areas
flagged
that say you
off.
don't leave.
They do have they say they have
path.
a 6-kilometer bike path that's cut out or something that you can ride these big wheel bikes on or something. But besides that, yeah, you're not supposed to go anywhere. You can't go by yourself. I guess that they did say that they would, if we wanted, give us like a private location where we could set up all the cameras and they would be out of the way so that nobody accidentally walks in front of it or knocks it down a tripod or something. That's the only thing I've heard that they have offered, that they would basically give us one of their employees to help us go and set up all the cameras at one spot. But that's all I've heard. So anyway, I'm going to open up the phone lines. You guys have questions, concerns. Thank you very much, by the way, for that, November. But no, I'm anxious. I'm interested to hear. I've gotten so many messages from people, although some of the things are just a little bit out of touch. The thing that, well, how do you know you're not going to be at the North Pole? How do you know that you're going to be at the South Pole? There is no such thing as a South Pole, Jeran. They're taking you to a ceremonial place. Yes, we know that. We're not saying we're going to the pole either. Let me just show real quick on the Google Earth so you can see. And again, it's just not something that you need to stress about. Like if it's stressing you out, just don't pay attention to it. Tune it off. And if you don't like the name because it's a final experiment, then don't consider it final. I mean, who cares what somebody calls something? I don't care if it's called the final experiment. It's not like, oh no, you can't experiment anymore. Remember, you were part of the final one. It's the last one. What? So down here in Antarctica, according to the globe, this little area of rocks here is the Union Glacier. So if we take our measuring, from there to the pole is, where is, I lost my box. What's going on here? Where's the measuring box? All right, hold on. Let me restart this. It's not working. Come on. So it's at 90 degrees, which is, or 80 degrees, I mean, so it's actually more like here. 80 degrees, about there. Come on. Oh, there's the box there. I see it now. And to there. And we'll move this over. So this shows that it's 672 miles from the pole. And stop it. So if you get in here, there is some photos, I think, a couple of them here. So this looks like it's about right here. This is showing one of the fat tire bikes. This is
What is the closest base to the pole? Is there one closer?
Well, the Scott
In
base.
Argentina, we have Marambio. Is the closest one.
They have here's right here, Union Glacier Station. I didn't even see that before. So this is the Blue Ice Runway. I've never even seen this. I didn't even get this close before. What does this show? Yeah. So, and again, a lot of people saying, well, you won't know which direction it is down there. Well, I don't think it's that difficult. Let's see if this Union Glacier. So you can see here, and people have asked, they only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 times 2. So you can tell at this event, they only had 22 people. Every year, they basically have a trip down there. It's super expensive. And remember, the $31,500 only covers Punta Arenas to Antarctica and back. It doesn't cover my flight from California to Punta Arenas, doesn't cover my hotel stay in Punta Arenas, doesn't cover food. So that's why I've told Duffy, you better be ready for $45,000. Plus, you have to buy insurance. They have extraction. If they have to come get you out of Antarctica, it's like $500,000. So you have to buy insurance that in case you have some sort of medical issue and you need to be picked up in some sort of plane, that the insurance covers that. So you can see at this event, they had very few people. And basically, they take this down and set it up every year. And there can be, I think they can have 70 tents. So 70 tents would be 140 people. Now, I have no idea how many people are going on ours, but thanks to witsitgetsit. Oh, witsitgetsit. When you got the sun to go behind the observer, it showed a sun behind and in front of the observer at the same time. I think we would even be able to tell if we are near a theoretical firmament. I think it would be dope. I still predict a storm, though. I totally agree. And that's the kind of thing I'm talking about is evidence, right? So what Witsit's saying is that when I showed it kind of going behind the person and in front of, well, there would be two suns, and we would be able to see that. And if we were able to pick that up, that is huge evidence to prove that we are near a dome or that we're near a wall, right? That or some sort of reflection now. Well, that is the exact same as sun as that. Somebody could zoom in on that sun, look at the sunspots versus the one that's behind us. Oh, there is no sunspots there, or there is, and they're inverted or whatever. So it's all possibility. But anyway, this is where we're talking about, and I agree with Austin. He's predicting storm. I think that the easiest way for them to get the most out of this would be muck up the sky. We know NASA makes clouds, easy. They muck up the sky for 3 days, easy. And then nobody else goes down there because anybody would point to, I'm not going down there. Duffy spent $140,000. They proved nothing. So that's the best bet in my mind. Again, we are predicting that now, which would be very weird if Austin and I are, meteorological predictors 6 months in advance. So anyway, that's basically the location. They do it every year, but here's the really weird thing is that it's not like they do it multiple times a year. As far as I can tell, this is the only Union Glacier excursion this year in 2024, 2025, or, that winter over. So their summer. There is no, it's December 14th through the 18th. There is no, okay, we're going to go the 19th through the 23rd, and we're going to go to the 24th through the 29th. It's just this one. So if they were going to muck up the sky, it's not like they need to do it all the time. It'd just be those 3 days. I don't think it'd be very difficult at all. What I do think would be difficult, if not absolutely impossible, is to fake a sun when people are there to observe the sun. That's what I think is impossible. I don't think you can merge them together. Now, when I tell that to Dave Weiss, he's like, yeah, but behind clouds, if it's in cloud cover, I'm like, okay, that's totally different. I said, but let's say I'll even give it a 45 degree. Let's say there's a 45 degree area that we could say the sun would rise in this 45 degree sector. And then we turn and we say, and over there, that's the 45 degree sector that the sun would set. Okay, now if it's always cloudy when the sun is in those 45 degree sectors, then that's a problem. We can't. How would we predict that? Nobody else has ever gone out and been like, okay, the sun's going to rise over there. I predict when the sun rises, there'll be clouds there. Then we'll see the sun, and then there'll be clouds there when it's set. And nobody does that because you can't predict like that. But if we can, there's a problem. And then as far as the sun behind us, that's the only thing I think Dave and I maybe disagreed on a little bit today. Well, not really. I think he agreed that he was talking about, well, I said, yeah, but what if the sun's behind us that we see it? And he said, well, if it's in cloud cover, I'm like, okay, that's off. If it's in cloud cover every time it's behind us, that's evidence against the globe. What are the chances of that? Only when it's behind me, only when it's in the place that it's not supposed to be, we can't actually see it. But if it's ever behind you and it's the actual sun, So the cloud's clear and you're able to zoom in on it. There's a sunspot, and that's when it becomes interesting. Because, well, how did they do that? How are they able to fake the real sun behind you when we know it's also rising for Australia, which we know. Now, again, you can take the position that I heard somebody else take. Who was it? Brian's Logic. This is real, where he says, I don't know that there's one sun. There could be multiple suns. Absolutely. So, but we just have to recognize that if that's our position, then literally we can say whatever we want. The sun could be anywhere, could be rising anywhere, setting anywhere, and we can all just shake it off and say, but there's 16 suns. So I can't prove that there's not 14 suns, and I can't prove that there's not 12 suns. So if that's going to be our position, just know that that's your position, and just recognize it's not mine. I have a little bit more connection with reality that I would like to think that this, when I heard the Pac-Man sun, I dismissed it outright, right? Because I said, no, I don't think that the sun just morphs from position to position on the earth. And now if it does, then I kind of throw my hands up, because how are you ever going to show anything with the sun? But again, many people are like, it's lights in the sky. We can't prove, Jeran, the earth with the lights in the sky. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it being
about that. Yeah.
Going around your head if you go out there.
That's what I wish people got to hear and like listen to, Austin and I's conversations or that's the most sure thing, not worried about that happening.
Well, with sunspots, Jeran, I think you just looking at sunspots, I think would totally disprove or prove whether or not that it works the way they say it does. Now, I did a video on the moon about this because the moon is easy. It has more features on it all the time. So it's not like the sun, where the sun could be dormant and you don't see it all that much. Here, real quick, let me pull this up. But from the pole, like the closer you get to the equator, like at the equator, the moon, your view is going to change 180 degrees.
Sharing? Let me get over there.
Oh.
I don't know where my Zoom's. Oh, there's, I'm looking for Zoom, Skype. Duh. All right, go ahead.
So let's see, 13 minutes. I don't want to play this whole thing. Let me just I'll show you what I'm talking about here.
Okay,
I think I go to the North Pole right here. I should be. No, that's from mine. Let's see. From the pole, the moon doesn't change, supposedly. Like if you're at the North Pole, the moon doesn't rotate in the sky. Let me try and find where I put in North Pole. I don't know. South Pole, here you go. So this is what it should look like.
Wait, you're able to do that on Stellarium? Why can't I never go to the South Pole in Stellarium? Won't even let me go down there. That's weird. Okay. You just typed it in?
Yeah.
Wow. I never let me just go that direction on the map. All right, go ahead.
And then I got to get to a place where it's above, because right now it's below the horizon. But, as you can see, it doesn't change. The features on it don't change. It doesn't wagon wheel. That's supposedly the moon going through the night sky. Now,
wait,
I show in the earlier one that you will see the wagon wheel. Stellarium is very accurate that way. There's a little bit of a rotation there. But yeah, so you shouldn't see a wagon wheel at the South Pole. If you're down there.
You mean on the sun, or you're about on the moon?
On either.
Okay.
Yeah, because they both do the wagon wheel across the sky, and it's all based off of perspective. It's not them actually wagon wheeling, it's you turning your body, and you're not at the center of its rotation. So like if you're at the center of its rotation, you're going to look at it, and no matter where you're looking at it, you're always at the center. It's going to look the same to you. But now if you move closer to it and get away from the center of its rotation, the only time you're going to see it lined up again is if it's directly south of you. The rest of the time, you're going to have to turn your body to see it, but it's not lined up with you. It's still lined up with the center. So it's going to look different to you.
Can you put in, just so I can see, I don't know, from the south, there's no, oh wait, you don't have that open right now. Sorry, my bad. You're watching a video. I just was trying to see. I don't think I've been able to figure out if this new moon would be anywhere near Antarctica at that time, because there is like the moon disappears for weeks, if not months, I think.
Yeah. I think it's weeks.
So, okay. So we've got, if you guys want to join the show and ask any questions or comments or concerns, or tell Erie you love him or you hate him, either one will be acceptable. You can go to tinyurl.com/cornerism, CORNERISM. Should get you on the show. I'll put that on the screen. Let me just move this over here. And you will join us if you would like to ask a question or comment or concern or anecdote or limerick. We'll allow all that. All right, let me just make sure that I put this on the screen. What do you guys see that? Okay. Let me add that. And that's basically it as far as this goes. I don't want it to be a big deal because it shouldn't be. I've just been getting a lot of messages from people almost like they're stressing that they're just really like this is the most worrisome thing to them, and it just doesn't need to be. And don't worry about and if you watch other people talk about it, just know that you're listening to people who don't have an idea what they're talking about. For the most part, they haven't talked to me. No one's interviewed me about this. They have not understood the parameters around it. That we're not just going into this willy-nilly. There is, it took time to look into it and see, okay, this is not just some trip to some random place in Antarctica. Okay, this is a Union Glacier camp. Okay, we look back in time. This company's been in business 25 years. They've been taking people there for 25 years. Now, I got mad at them on the phone or it was actually an email, but they kept asking me when I said I was going to go down there. They're like, oh, well, what are you filming for? You're going to do what? And I said, listen, I'm filming the sun because you guys have been in business for 25 freaking years and you don't have one video of the 24-hour sun. So now I've got to go down there and film it because you guys can't. So I'm like, was being kind of rude to them, but it's the case. It's the truth. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me that this is something, and think about how this has really become on the forefront of everyone's mind over the last, say, 5 years, how big of a deal is. And nobody has thought like, let's just go down there and film the sun since it just goes around your head. There's something wrong there. And so you get all these globers who are so confident to say that it absolutely will happen. And it's like, I know that they must think to themselves at least once, like, why has nobody filmed this yet? Why is there no video of it? If you want to see, I've got a great video real quick that I'll show you that I showed yesterday. That's kind of nice. Let me find it. There's a 360 film that somebody took of the eclipse from down there. Let me go to 360 Union Glacier eclipse. But it's a beautiful video because you can actually see this one. Yeah, this is great. So this is a beautiful video. See what you guys see? There we go. So this is a picture we're looking now. Again, if you go back to the ray diagram, we're looking in. Where is my... Did I get rid of the ray diagram? Great. I think I'm already out of that one. Oh, it's on this, not SunCalc, and I already got rid of it. Okay, so on the ray diagram, just kind of picture us being on the outside. You're looking at the sun. It's coming this way, heading off. We would, be able to say the 45-degree section would be over here where it would rise, whatever. But this is a 360-degree camera. So people who say, like, you won't know what direction you're looking, these are pretty noticeable features. Like, we'll know what direction we came in on the plane. We'll know what direction the runway is. You would land, and then you would be able to immediately turn around and go, okay, that's east, that's west. Look at the mountains. It would be, this is Ellesmere. Okay, we know exactly. Ellesmore's 60 degrees, whatever it is. I don't know. I'm just giving random numbers right now. But you would be able, this is not hard to determine what directions you're looking. So, of course, there's this sun. They only show it for 9 minutes. So, and it barely moves, but it does move. I did check to see, okay, is it moving actually the right direction? Watch the sun here. If I go from there to the end of 9 minutes, you'll see it moves just a hair to the left. Okay. So that's what is expected, obviously. Just saying that this is the view. And also, I believe, and I have to look it up exactly, I don't think that the sun ever gets lower, supposedly, than like 22 degrees. I forgot the exact number. Maybe it's 26 or something. But that's pretty high up. I mean, it's not, 45 would be, what a 45-degree angle is. So halfway between the ground and 45 is the lowest it will get, supposedly. Again, we think it sets. We think it rises. So this is a video. You can find this easy by searching 360 Union Glacier eclipse. But yeah, as far as it being like super cold, yeah, it's supposed to be, it's not their winter. So it's hopefully, they say the temperature ranges between -10 and 32, meaning -10 at the lowest, +32 Fahrenheit at the highest. And then your tent is always warm to 72. So it's not, the end of the world. It's not, I've been in that cold weather. I don't think I'll like it. But if you're talking about just there to film it, and also Austin and I have no desire to go on backpacking trips and go on hikes and I want to go see the penguins. Don't give a shit. I'm going down there to watch the sun, period. That's it. I'll be watching the sun when it's my shift to watch it, and I'll be sleeping when it's not. And then I'll wake up and watch it again, and they'll go to sleep, and so on and so forth. That would be it. Again, do I think I'll even go down there? Not at this time. Not at this time, and nor have we accepted. All right, let's go. We got our first.
Which will happen first, this or the moon landing?
Well, I wish I was going to win money like I did for the Dear Moon. Well, I haven't won it yet. The guy Arctic Reflections. I'm not going to ask anybody to go to his channel yet and pester him. It's only been a couple days, but so far it looks like he's playing some sort of game where he's not going to. He should have already paid me. Dear Moon has canceled their mission. The bet was $500 that their mission would happen in 2024. Clearly, once you cancel it, it's not going to happen. But he is playing dumb and acting like he's not deleting my. It's one of those things where I'll make a comment that says, "Hey, where's my money?" Then another comment that's like, "Dude, they already canceled the trip. Here's the link. Send my money to the Cash App." Then I'll say, "Dude, why are you erasing my comments?" And then he'll respond to that, and you go to his channel, and that's the only comment there that says, "Why are you erasing my comments?" And he's like, "I'm not erasing your comments. Maybe YouTube is." You dirtbag. So then it just looks like I'm just randomly saying things on his channel. But what about the comment? Anyway, easy it is for somebody to do if they want. I thought I heard a beep like somebody came in. Was I tripping? Make sure I don't have this open somewhere else. Nope, not on that tab. SunCalc is the only one on that tab. So anyway, if you look at this again, by the way, you can come back in again. It's tinyurl.com/cornerism. I'll put it in the chat in case. Ask a question. url.com/cornerism. All right, there you go. See if that gets us anybody. But if you look, this does very strangely match what we were just showing on that raid diagram. Coming this way. Let's go over. There we go. RG the artist. What up, my friend? How are you?
URL.
You gotta turn off YouTube and then just listen through.
See if that gets us anybody.
You gotta turn off YouTube and just listen through this link here.
Oh, hello.
What's up, RG?
Hey, what's up, buddy? How are you?
Good, you? I just want to test real
We
quick.
can't hear him here.
You don't hear him at all?
If they can hear him on YouTube or not, but
Okay.
yeah, I don't hear him here.
Hold on one second. YouTube, can you let me know if you hear the caller? And I'll change. I think I might have to. 1 second, RG. I think that I go to Skype and I've got to change settings. Sometimes I have to change the output. Let me go here, audio, video. And where's the speakers? It might be this one, change to this one. Okay, 1 second. I'm going to close this and see if that fixes it.
Yeah, they hear him on YouTube.
Okay, and how about, do you hear him? Go ahead and say something, RG.
Yeah, you hear me, Zach?
There we go.
Beautiful.
Hey, RG, how's it going?
Hey, it's going, man. It's going. You guys are piqued my interest with this final experiment thing. I had Ron Boston ask me if I had heard of that, a few days back, and I told him no. And now I've kind of did a little deep dive and I watched your show last night too, Jeran, and bro, you guys are doing this for a bigger cause, I believe. It's not just for personal trip or personal glory or something to brag about, bro. This is worldwide. I mean, this is a big deal, and if it's an option to go and, figure this out, bro, more power to you. And I appreciate it. I look forward to these results if it does happen. I have two questions, though. One, the first one's for Zach. I'm going to ask you, Zach, how did you, or what was the process you went through to get your book secured? I heard it was something about a free way to go about that. Is that right?
Yeah, Amazon has a publishing distribution system all built into Amazon. So you can, as long as you design it and put it out there and it fits all kinds of certain parameters, it doesn't have to be picked up by a publishing company first. So you can get books out there and get them printed and have like a collection and then show that to a publishing company.
Okay.
So they've
Can you sell
really
them
made it
individually, though?
amazing. Yeah, I'm probably going to do a live stream here. I'm thinking about next week sometime, where I'm going to go through the whole process, because I just finished my fourth book on there. It's out right now, and I started a series and everything. Yeah, it's real simple. Amazon's made it really simple to get your stuff out there. Now, getting people to see it is another thing. There's advertisement programs you can pay for and stuff like that. But yeah, they've made it real easy to get it printed.
Okay, cool. Is there a way you could post a link, just to kind of direct me in the right way, I guess?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you don't mind. Okay, thank you, man. I've got a lot of old stuff I've written, songs and like poetry and stuff. I'm gonna try to get published. But yeah, thank you. And second, Jeran, I have a question about the you were using like a sun ray simulator earlier and last night on your show, kind of detailing what you believe it to be possible to see not the sun 24 hours, but the daylight. And I'm curious about when you were doing the demonstrations, and you would go around and then a certain point, the whole outside perimeter, which I guess we call Antarctica. So I'm curious, why do you think it does that first? And then second, if it lights up all the way around the rim of the outside perimeters, then wouldn't it be kind of hard to determine where the sun would be if it's daylight still? I mean, if it could be 180 across from you or 90 degrees across from you when
think
you
about
see the
like right now.
apparent sun?
Think about when you're out during the day. Can you tell where the sun is?
Only if I see the sun. I mean, I can tell a different, a specific direction, I guess. But if you don't see the sun, like,
no. So that's the thing.
I'm
If we
trying to
don't see
phrase
the
my question
sun,
wrong.
no, you're not. I mean, but if what I'm saying is, I think people forget that the sun is the important thing here. So if we can't see the sun already, it's a not a good observation, and it kind of gets. It's just trash. So if there's any kind of cloud cover, the fact that we can't see it, this really depends on seeing the sun, right? Because if you see the sun, then you know the direction it is. And I see what you're saying, that you're saying if the whole thing lights up and it becomes 24 hours of daylight, which I think if you're a flat earther, you probably believe. I believe that. I believe that the Antarctica does get 24 hours sun light, but not 24 hours sun. They don't see the sun for 24 hours. And in fact, this is what we've heard from people who have worked down there, former employees, that they all kind of same thing. Oh no, it is all daytime. And these explorers, they'll even be saying sometimes, it's great to go during this time because there's 24 hours of light. And then you'll be reading further in their story and they say something like, something happened when the sun set. So how did you just say? You just said it was all daytime, but then you said the sunset. So that leads to me to believe of what we think is going on, that the sun does set, but it doesn't get dark.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes good sense.
I'll put that sun calculator. I'll put a link in the chat just if people want to play with it. There's so many things that you can do on that thing because what does I say it's called? Ray diagram. There's so many things you can do on the simulator, which is pretty cool that I don't even know how to use. Like if you go into the Ray simulator and start to play with the other button, and then you can actually, blocker, where is it? Glass. So there's like gradient index. Like you can actually put gradients. Now, once you click that and you start drawing this gradient supposedly in this, let's say this triangle here, there's all these numbers that come up. Gradient index glass n x comma y equals 1.1 plus 0.1 cosine. I don't know any of this, but if somebody who's smart enough can play with this and get into more options and change, maybe they can make the exact atmosphere that we have. I don't know. I don't know how to do that. So if somebody knew how to do that, they could actually draw a circle with the gradient of the atmosphere that they claim we have and start to play with it even better than I can and get, but this is what light does. I mean, for the most part, I don't think really people argue with that. So if using that atmospheric circle And yeah, you can move that point source of light in and out. And if you get too close to the rim, it lights up the entire rim.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad. Hey, look, I'm glad we're doing this early. This topic is on the table. Like, it's so far out that everyone's going to be playing with that toy there, and just, I mean, trying to back you guys the best way we can. You know, that way we're
like if somebody
informed before you go.
If somebody found with this light ray diagram, if somebody found the secret to getting the sun to go behind you, that would eliminate everything. Because then I would be able to say, I'm not going down there because I've already shown, we can show that the sun would cause that sun to go behind you in Antarctica. So what you guys are trying to do is to get us to go down there, film that, and then say that that's proof of a globe. But we just showed you on a flat plane how it can happen.
Yeah.
The reason that we can't say that yet is because there's not that.
There's something that's going to happen, guys. I don't know what. I'm not saying bad. Trust me, I'm not a fearmonger, but there's something about the other day when you were on the show with Duffy.
Mm-hmm.
And every time you were looking down and talking to something, this guy was just
I saw it after
grinning. I mean, it just kind of like an evil looking grin.
It was so weird because I didn't see that. I didn't see that at all during the show, not one time. And then after, somebody was saying something about, oh, go watch his grin at an hour, 3 minutes or something. So I did, and I was like, oh, that's weird. And then I went back and started watching. I'm like, oh, he did that the whole time. I didn't even see it though live. I was just either I was looking down or not looking at him.
You missed it every time, and I called it, and I was like, man, it's very weird. Smiling.
Very weird.
Anyway, I won't take y'all's time anymore. I appreciate the answers,
right.
and
thanks, RG.
Yeah, man, thank you.
All right, let's go with the. Did I put it in the chat? I don't know if I dropped it in there or not. I guess I did. Yeah, I did. Where it says phidemo.app ray optics. You can play with that. If you know the math and stuff of these gradient blockers, you can do gradient index circles. So now you got this. Now somehow you can set what the gradient is with, look at this, 285.333. Got me, I'm lost. I check out at that point. Let's go to Speaker's Corner. We've got no longer.
Yeah, and I dropped that link in the chat for him.
Thank you.
It's real easy, kdp.amazon. That's just it. Kindle Direct Publishing, it stands for, .amazon, and it should bring you right to the link. And then yeah, I'll go through it because it was kind of a pain in the butt, certain parts of it, where I was kind of pulling out the hair I don't have. But once I figured it out, it went real easy. Yeah, like I've done 4 books since May 12th now.
Okay, no longer on the ball. Can you hear us?
Yes.
All right.
Can you hear me?
How are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
Good, thanks.
And much love to you and Yuru and Zack and
Much
the GLOBEBUSTers. Awesome. So yeah, me personally, I'm hoping you will be able to go on this final voyage, final journey, whatever.
Don't call it that.
The final journey.
I couldn't resist.
I know, and there's this movie that Bob and I watched back in the day, and I wish I remembered the name of it. It was like the final expedition or the last expedition, and it was so weird because it was this movie that these guys go down to Antarctica, and they're doing some stuff down there, whatever, and then there's like a blizzard that comes, and then they need to be rescued, and they're picked up at the North Pole. It's a movie, and it's like Bob and I watched it. It was called like I wish I could. We couldn't find it after a couple years. Cami, if you remember that movie. I'm sure Bob watched it with you. It was this movie we found. It was like a feature movie, like an hour and a half. I just don't remember the last expedition, the final expedition. If you remember anything about it, I would love to see it again. It was probably 8 years since 8 years since I've seen it. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
No worries. Yeah. So yeah, there's this story, the Belgica to the Antarctic, the voyage of the Belgica.
Okay.
These Belgian people. It's 1897 through 1899. Dr. Frederick A. Cook, which happens to be a different Captain Cook different than Captain Cook. So this Dr. Frederick Cook, he was down there, and they got caught down there in the winter time of Antarctica. So there they were, mid-July in Antarctica. People are dying of scurvy and all this crap, but it was completely dark, day and night down there. So they says in the story, by this 22nd of July, after about 63 days of total darkness, they saw the sun come back for about 20 minutes, per day. And that brought them hope that, maybe it'll start rising the temperature and melting the ice to let them back out so they could escape. But yeah, that's kind of crazy. So one of the questions is, in the north, do we have 63 days of darkness in the north?
Mm-hmm.
You think?
I believe so. If you're very, very far north, within the 66. So again, if you're the only place you would ever see just full darkness would be at the North Pole, right? For a long period of time. Then if you kind of move away from that, which there is no land that anybody goes to till you get to like Alaska or, the northern Canada, which is all that junky little islands up there. I think that in Fairbanks, they probably get a couple, maybe a month. And I know Norway gets about a month.
Yeah, my sister lived on, I think she still does, one of the islands out on the archipelago out there. And she said they had like 2.5 weeks from where she was. I'm not sure which island she was on. But yeah, she lived out there somewhere. And yeah, she told me, every year we get like 2.5 weeks of, she was a psychiatrist for the Air Force.
So
and
yeah,
she said it was interesting.
And I haven't really mapped out this, Frederick Cook voyage, but they came in by a boat. They couldn't get back out. I would kind of assume they weren't right directly on the quote unquote South Pole.
Right.
So I doubt they were very far inland, in other words. And if they were getting 63 days of total darkness, according to the, the record here, I'm just wondering, you would think that would have to correspond with the globe, having an equal amount of darkness in the north as the south, you would think.
Yeah, they should be complete opposites.
Yeah. So I found that kind of funky, kind of interesting that, 63 days of total darkness. Once they started seeing, the light, they'd get 20 minutes of light. Now, I thought that was also interesting. Because as the sun is traversing to the southern solstice or whatever, it's getting closer to the Antarctic region.
So this right here, I pulled it to, this is November 13th. If you watch right here in northern Alaska, so let's say right where this, I'll put a pin there. So if I put a pin, where'd my pin go? Drop it there. Didn't want it there. Drop another one. What is going on? Why is this thing dropping wherever it wants? Move this. All right, well, I'm not going to drop pin. So just look at this square right here. This is northern Alaska inside the Arctic Circle as of November. So I'm going to be pulling so you can see that it stays dark there, right? And so it looks like in like northern Alaska, you might get a month, maybe two. Well, it's already, what are we at now? Oh, now we're at December 25th. So now you'll notice that we get into January and it's not going to do next year. We'll go back this way all the way till I can get back to 2023. Now we'll go back this way. Okay, so now we're at 12/31. Oh, this is 1/1. We go one more. Backwards one more. This one. Okay. So now you'll see that it's going to start to get light as we get into January. You see how it's starting to flash, and that's because you would be getting a little bit of sun. Now the flashes are going to get bigger. And if you want to see what we're talking about, if you get down here, I'm going to drop my person. Well, let me drop down here. Not really. Oh, there's a spot. So I just dropped my guy in Alaska in that northern area. And then if we turn back to the south, which is where we would be seeing the sun, let's go. I'm going to go all the way over to here. Come on. Okay, so now we're facing dead south. And you would see that now the sun, what they're talking about short time is, if you notice the sun, go down one more. Sorry, up this way. Just trying to get to one day. There we go. So now you'll see that as the sun comes here, you would just see it rise and set right in front of you, both looking south, which seems to make a lot of sense to me. And if I bring up Stellarium, I don't know if people have ever seen me change it's kind of crazy because the analemma is described through this. Like there's a lot of things that make a lot of sense from here, where if we go, I don't know if this is near Reno, if you kind of play with this Stellarium, change it to change by like hour, or is it, let me see here, I forget which one it is, not by month, might be by day. Yeah, so this is by day, and you'll notice that if we go to how far north can we go? Let me go to Alaska. See if it'll get me there. Use this location. Okay, so now we're in Alaska, and we're going to go with this, and we're going to change by day. Let me just change this time. Okay, so you can kind of watch here. We're looking north. It'd be better if I was looking south, actually. Let's look south, and we should be able to see the sun kind of do the analemma. Shoot, not month, day. Okay, let's see here. Where's the sun? Come on, sun. Oh, because I'm at the middle of the night. Let me get a little bit further where the sun comes. There we go. Okay, so watch the sun. You can actually see. How do you turn off the daylight? Here? That's night mode. That might actually work. Let me see. Because what you can see is the sun come towards you and go away from you. Come towards you and go away from you, because that's basically what is happening. You can't see in the red. There, you see the sun? Ah, shoot, you can't see it good enough. Why can't I never thought about that. How do you turn off the light? How did I used to see the sun?
Yeah, there's a way to. I forget. I know. I had trouble finding this when I was playing with it too. Trying to see the moon during the day. I had to figure out how to turn
off the atmosphere.
There you go. Yeah.
All right. So if you turn off the atmosphere. Now, if you go like this, now watch the sun as it's coming near you. And this is, remember, I'm moving by day right now. Now the sun's going away from you. So this is at the same time every day. And if you think of the flat Earth map, this is all easily explained. That's what's, and then you can see all those planets are orbiting the sun. So if they're just little lights in the sky orbiting the sun, and they're all above us, gives us sign and season. All that makes a lot of sense to me. And again, the only thing that doesn't jive is there being any reason why the sun would go behind you in the south. So, all right, let's go to the. Oh, right, sorry, we still have you on the call. Sorry, I just was going off on the Solarian thing. Anyway, go ahead. No longer on the ball.
Yeah. So, do you think that if you were standing down there in that camp during the summer, do you think that the daylight would be, shorter in length, or you would maybe perhaps notice the sun looks like it's actually traveling faster than you're used to seeing that sun travel in the north? You think you'd be able to sense any of that?
I don't think so, but I'm not positive. I mean, maybe because again, we would think it would set, and it might set extremely fast, but they're not going to let us see that. Right. Yeah. So they're going to cover that up. Now, it would be the most shocking thing would be we get down there and film it set, because then it's like, all right, we just changed the world. Austin and I should be famous. Because that would be the biggest blow the globe has ever had. That the sun cannot set in Antarctica during December, right? Just can't. Not from 80 degrees. There's no explanation. That would be probably the death blow. So I don't think that they'll let us see that. If we could see that, then I bet you the sunset would happen extremely fast, because the sun is moving so much faster, and it would rise extremely fast. But that would only help them if they're clouding up the skies. It would be able to know that they don't, only need to cover it up for a quick time, something like that. But I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's still 15 degrees an hour, right? Which is why the globe always wants to refer to that, is because even though we know, let's say that you lived as a little flea and you were on a clock and the hour hand was the sun and you're looking up at it. Yes, if you're on the inside of that clock looking up and you see the hour hand moving above you, it is moving slower than somebody on the outside of the clock looking up at the hour hand, but it's still moving the same speed. It's still moving, well, not the same speed. It's still moving 15 degrees an hour, right? So you would kind of, both fleas would see kind of the same thing in the sky, even though in one case, the hour hand is moving way faster. So that's the thing about moving 15 degrees and then also being in your own personal atmospheric dome. No matter how fast it's moving, it only is covering 15 degrees in an hour.
Right.
So.
And my other thoughts here, which are a little bit more tinfoil hat kind of a theory, but you know how Dave Weiss always talking about his extra territories, his extra lands, his extraterrestrials.
Yes.
So, in that map, there's the outer lands, it's got the ice circle around us, our pond, and then it's got kind of looks like another circular shaped pond, if you will. Mm-hmm. Now, if any of that kind of stuff is true, that would mean that there's another sun. And if there is another sun doing this, circuit or something, maybe it's a parallel, maybe it's not on the same. Anyways, who knows? But I'm just saying that might be able to account for a sun behind you, if that was
Yeah, you're talking about this map here.
a thing.
I don't know. Oh, you can't probably see it. Oh,
Yeah, I can bring it up on my phone.
yeah,
here.
just you've seen it before. It's the map that has the. Oh, actually, probably this is the one more people are used to seeing. So what? Let me see if we can go to this map. Right. So if you, let me go to see if we get. What is this one here? Flat Earth polar. What is this one? I've never even seen a high definition flat Earth map.
Oh yeah, that's an interesting one. But yeah, exactly like that. That's the idea. I used to have that as the wiki's logo, as one of those kind of maps.
So the weird thing about this is we know that our sun goes clockwise, and then so there would have to be a sun that's moving counterclockwise on this outer section. But the problem becomes you're right. It would have to be perfectly merged, because as the sun crosses this way, if we're sitting on this land here, and the sun's going this way, then the sun that's coming the opposite direction, they'd have to swap positions in the sky, but not continue to see the real sun, right? So if our sun's going this way, clockwise, and then all of a sudden this sun is coming this way, okay, well, if they merge together or whatever, then it means that this sun would disappear, in which case it could be that. But I just don't see how that would be timed perfectly. I could see that happening, but I bet you what we would see is we would continue to see this sun going off in the setting direction, and then this sun would be coming into view. And again, if there's sunspots, would they have the same sunspots? That would be really weird.
Right. So you're going to have your solar lens.
Well, I've got an infrared and a solar lens, but I've only got one camera, so obviously that won't really work. But I'm sure that we would have a whole bunch. And yeah, I mean, we're not even at that point yet. I'm guessing that if Austin ever did decide to agree, and we both agree that the next steps would be really determining the equipment needed and the clothing needed and everything that has to go with it. So, yeah, I'm not really thinking that far ahead yet, because I don't necessarily think it's going to happen as far as going down there, but I'm prepared to go if that's what needs to happen. It's, I think that it would be sad for Duffy, because I think that he would lose a lot of money, and I don't feel bad about saying that, because I mean, that's what would happen. So
I wouldn't feel bad. He's so good at investing, right?
Yeah, he's got all that great investments. So.
And everybody else is so damn bad at it. I mean,
so bad that they have to go after him and
get a claim, to grift, right?
Right. So again, I mean, more power to somebody if they're good at investing.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's not my cup of tea, but if he's willing to pay for us to go down there, I'm not somebody who's going to just say, no, I don't, because what I really don't want is I don't want anybody saying, I already have to hear everybody say interesting 100 times a day. So that now I don't want people saying, oh, and you are so afraid of your belief in Antarctica not having a 24-hour sun, you won't even go down there and prove it, because that's not true. The truth is, I don't have the money to go do that. But if you're like, well, if money was no issue, would you? And my answer is yes. So if somebody offers me, hey, I'll send you down there, my answer is still yes. It's not like, I feel like so many people out there, and I don't want to name any names, but there's a ton that have now sounded like such losers to me. Like people that I would used to watch that I'll never watch again, because what they've done is they've now said, they've gone on and on agreeing with me and saying that there's no 24-hour sun. And now all of a sudden they're like, well, even if there is, it doesn't mean. So it's like, okay, but why wouldn't you be saying that for the last 9 years? You've been saying that there's no 24-hour sun. Now you're saying, but if there is, it doesn't matter. That just to me is a different position. I haven't been telling people that if there is a 24-hour sun, it doesn't matter. I've been telling people there isn't one because it doesn't match my model, and it would be pretty good evidence of the globe that we can't find. So that's enough evidence for me to say, oh, it doesn't happen. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah. It's just, I'm not in this for just holding my position no matter what. I'm in it to follow the evidence. Now, I think in this case, if we follow the evidence will lead us back to the truth, which is that there is no 24-hour sun there, and anything that we observe there will be evidence of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I'm rooting for you. I hope it works out. If it does, I think it'll be huge, and it certainly will not be the final experiment, and that's for sure.
I doubt that. Yes. All right. Thank you so much, buddy.
Thank you so much.
We've got Drew Jones. Welcome to the show, Drew.
Hi, Jeran. Hi, Zack. Hi, Ira.
What's that, Drew?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. I definitely don't think it's going to happen because we'll probably be in war by then.
Good point. That's another thing I didn't think about, right? There's going to
The
be
presidential election is in November. I mean,
Right.
well, if it even happens.
half this country is going to
I-
hate the other half and probably burn it down.
Probably. I mean, Trump will be back by then, despite what Austin says, and doesn't thinks he's evil. I side with Flat Earth Dave on that, because I think I hope I still believe in all the conspiracy stuff, and that hopefully something good is about to happen, that we're on the path to a better country. But yeah, I mean, well, so you said you don't have equipment yet, right? You haven't even thought of that far yet.
No, because we would need
batteries and
Yeah,
making sure that nothing.
You would need all
that
that
can keep
stuff.
running.
You would need heat packs. You would need to probably talk. Yeah, my whole
Is
thing
he paying for all that too?
He says yes. So
even all the winter gear, right?
he says yes. I mean, I wouldn't do it otherwise. So he's already
No.
claimed that publicly. But like Austin said, well, we need to get it in paper writing. And I'm like, okay, yeah, but none of that will happen until
Oh, yeah, you
Austin.
got to get like a lawyer thing,
Yeah.
to jot all that up.
But I don't even need to
And,
think
I
about
mean-
that until Austin says, okay, I'm in if all these things happen. And then I say, me too. And then we would start drawing things up and get things signed and get moving. But we're just not there yet. And I'm also in the place that if Austin lags a little bit because he's not sure about it and they give it to somebody else, I really don't care. So it's not like I'm dying to go on this trip. Let's put it
Would
that
you still go with someone else? It has to be Austin.
way. It depends who. I mean, I just
It
trust.
depends on who. Yeah.
Yeah, I just trust Austin. I mean, if it was somebody who I don't want to name names, but there could be other people that I would say that I would rather not go.
Dave said he's not going, right?
Dave said he's not going.
He said he's definitely not. He's not trusting her. Yeah.
He doesn't trust them, says that
but-
they're demons, and says that he thinks that they would try and trick us. And I mean, I get his position. And he's
of course.
yeah. So I mean, I get that. And he's like, you're younger than me. You're it's more for somebody like you. You understand cameras more than me. You would be able to get the footage that I would mess up on. And so I get Dave's position. But I still think there's better people than me also. So it just depends on where you place each person, and that's going to be subjective.
Well, isn't it interesting how this came up after the eclipse? Like maybe the theory is that they put the sun simulator up there during the eclipse. People are saying the sun has looked different ever since.
Oh, really? I guess I
Yeah,
haven't been paying
there are
attention to that.
people making videos saying ever since the eclipse that the sun has looked different. That would break my theory that we're on.
I wonder if
onto
Austin,
a better
Austin, because I know Austin from Melodome has been filming the sun a lot. I would have to ask him if he thinks he's seen anything different. Iru, people are asking, I don't know if you're still here. Iru, what's your thoughts on this experiment? If you went down there, what would you think? If you saw the sun go behind you, that kind of thing. Are you still here? Iru kind of sometimes
jumps in and jumps out.
Yeah, jumps in
I
and jumps
noticed
out.
that.
So I don't know if he's here right now, but when he comes back, we will ask him.
What's Zach's theory on it?
Zack's still here.
You think
on the
you think there could be a sun simulator up there?
I don't know. That'd be a hard one. Like if you had the solar filter on it, I think it would be near impossible.
You could
duplicate the sun.
that tells you that it's artificial. You could look through that right away.
I don't think they could artificially make a sun. I mean, maybe they could trick a human eye for a little while, but I
Maybe.
don't think they could. Yeah, I'm not saying they could like do that at night, but if it's already lit up 24 hours and you just, I don't know. That'd be interesting.
And my whole thing is, I agree with you, and I'm like, force them to do it. That's my opinion, right? Like, we could just say,
Yeah, show
hey,
'em.
they can fake it, so let's just all stay home and not. Okay, we could say that, but I feel like,
But then that makes you look bad and everything.
I
Well,
think
and it
it's a
makes
good
them not-
idea
call you out
just
on
for
that
the
again.
data gathering alone.
Yeah, and it
just
makes
for the
them
chance to
not-
go down there and
Yeah.
do it.
and it makes them not have to do anything. I mean, my wife said it a long time ago, like, people will make threats all the time, and they do it so that they don't have to actually act, right? Because people don't want to do the act. So she's always like, if somebody's going to do something, they'll do it. They won't talk about it. And I kind of do see that the case, that sometimes if you're too big of a talker and you just talk a lot, it's because you don't want to do the do. So if somebody's saying, you know, if everyone's saying, oh, they could fake it, they could fake it. Yeah, we could just say that, or we can force them to fake it, right? Force them to actually have to do it, and then us film it. And again, that's impressive if they can put something in the sky that acts like the sun and shows it to be the sun through infrared and shows it to be the same sun through solar filter. That it doesn't even jive with me that would be humanly possible. Some people said like they
I
could
would show how evil they are.
Yeah, they could project the sun. Like, okay, if they can project the
there.
sun, it wouldn't look the same through a camera. A camera would be able to tell the difference between a projected sun and the sun that we see. Even if the sun that we do see is projected, it's still going to look different than the one that they can project, I would assume. Otherwise, they basically are God. If they're able to make the same sun and do the exact same thing, make it go any direction they want, heat any part of the earth they want, then who knows what they're capable of if they can do that. They might have built this world then.
And if, like you said, if it's not 24 hours of daylight and 24 hours of sun is two different things.
Very different.
If it's 24 hours of daylight, it doesn't prove shit.
And we've already gotten Duffy on camera admitting that this is, he even said it in the very first video that he ever put out where he said there's two, or the one where he was revealed. He said, here's the two sides. And he said, if either side starts backtracking, if the flat earth starts saying, well, there might be a 24-hour sun because it's a second sun, he said, that's a problem. And he said, if anybody on the globe side starts saying, well, there is 24 hours of light, but the sun, it might not be, then that's a problem for their side. Right? Because
I'm still disturbed that he lied, that he didn't tell you the truth. And that he was also, talking with Mattoon. That's a red flag on my end.
Yeah, it's a red flag here too. I guess I look at it and say, well,
I know he tried to explain himself when you talked to him recently, but he did. Most everyone said he did not come off honest. He's hiding something.
Yeah.
Who's ever giving him the money to do this? I mean,
that's just good investments.
Not saying he's a Freemason, but
I saw somebody ask for his credentials as a pastor. I don't believe you have to have credentials to be a pastor. I think
no, you don't have the credentials to be a pastor, but
he just took over for Bob.
Never know what he's into on the side.
No, you
with
don't.
Those looks he was giving.
I did not like seeing the looks when I went back. It was like this little smile, very strange.
Creepy.
It's creepy, yeah, especially
Bond-like.
And even to become, I think, a minister, all you have to do is fill out a piece of paper. My buddy was trying to get me to marry him and his fiance. It's like, yeah, all you got to do is go online, fill out this thing, and they send you a little certificate that says you're allowed to marry us.
Oh, goodness. That's it.
So, yeah, I don't hold these people in too high regards. Just because they have this title or that title. It's no different than having a degree, in my opinion.
But whatever you decide to do, Jeran, I support you either way. I mean, even if you do go down there and it doesn't, 24 hours of sun still doesn't, prove to me that, could be, it can't be round because
there's too
water
much
doesn't travel uphill. It doesn't travel uphill. It's impossible.
I mean, my whole theory, everything goes out the window because I really say that there is nobody standing upside down underneath me. Everything that I observe matches that. And then this is where this one would throw a wrench in that. And so that's why I think it's, again, it's such a linchpin that there would be so much footage of it because it would be the thing that people could point to as proof. The fact that it's not there should tell everybody everything that they need to know. And they're like, oh, hundreds and thousands of people go down there every year and nobody is thought to film it. Nobody?
No.
Okay, that seems weird.
And you do plan to go, if you do go down there, it's going to be live, right? You plan to do this live, right? A live feed?
No, that would be impossible.
Just film it?
I don't think that you can.
Impossible?
Well, I don't think that there's any way to live stream from there. There should be. Let's point out another thing. They've got undersea cables going everywhere. Like, why wouldn't they just run some to Antarctica? Right? So it should be possible. There's no reason. It's not even that far. So it's not like they run cables from Australia to Japan and then across to Alaska, then down the coast of. So it's not even difficult for them to do. So the fact that you can't do that is questionable in my mind too. Why not? Why wouldn't you just run an undersea cable there?
They can't say, oh, because of pollution or this or that. There's nuclear reactors that they put down in Antarctica.
Yeah.
So
it's
I don't want to hear it.
So there's too many of these things that lead me to go. That's why it's just not That's what kind of made me like twinge a little bit when I've heard some of these flat earthers, because it's almost like they haven't listened to anything that we've been saying, or if they're just in this world of like, oh, well, if you see it this and Jeran's going to flip flop and this, it's like, no, you know what I believe, you know what I've seen, you know the evidence that we have. So that should be enough for you to be in the same position I am. Like, go ahead, show me a sun go behind my head. Go ahead. That doesn't fit any of the other evidence that we've seen. So force them to show it.
And you said there is a military base by there, right? Somewhere close?
I don't know.
Or
not
this
that I know of.
Well, if you guys do go down there and get footage and everything, and then military comes by and tries to confiscate it.
I mean, yeah, any of those things are possibilities. That's where, somebody asked me, like, what if they threaten your family or something like that? I mean, I don't even know how to answer that. It certainly hasn't happened yet. I've never been talked to by anybody on everything. On my kids, I've never been talked to by any agency, any person, anything like that at all. So I guess being that I've said that now, you could always ask me that in the future and say, do you agree with what you said on the GLOBEBUSTERS show that nobody's talked to you, and make me say yes or no? I don't know how you can actually do that with somebody, but it's just, I don't think that's what would happen. There'd be too many people they'd have to talk to, but again,
it would make them look bad.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you said, just sparing you guys and make them look bad. But
and I
I'll
think
let
you have to make
talk,
agreements.
Right.
I know it's kind of a spiritual thing, but I think you have to agree to certain things or take oaths in order for them to be able to do that kind of stuff to you.
So I'm glad you just said that. I really do feel strongly about, people have heard me say before that I don't necessarily think Satan exists, although I know that he does. What I mean by that is that when I eliminated the idea of demons and things like that from existing, I don't think those things can exist unless we welcome them in. Meaning that if you make a point to say the devil doesn't exist and things like that, these entities don't exist, demons don't exist, then that for you they don't, and they don't bother you, and I don't get any dreams about them and this and that. And then I'll have people say they do exist. I know for a fact because they bother me at night. It's like, okay, for you, since you believe in them, that they do exist for you. And then, so I kind of feel the same way, that I believe you have free will here, and that it is a kind of a, whatever you call it, a cosmic truth that people cannot force you to do things that you don't welcome in your life. So I don't welcome anybody threatening my family for me to work on behalf of government to fool people. Just put that out publicly. So I think by saying that, I'm not somebody who's approachable like that. I have not opened myself up.
You didn't sign the non-disclosure agreement. You didn't make a contract with them saying that you would be quiet.
Correct.
I think it's as simple as that.
Yeah, and so by stating those things publicly, that's why I think public is important too. People have said, like, what if he's down? What if they're trying to kill you this time? Like, it's already too public. This is not something that Duffy came behind the scenes.
It is already too public.
Yeah, it's already too public.
They can't do it. They wouldn't be able to get away with it.
No,
it would just make them look like.
If they did, then it's your guys' fault. Like, if we die in a plane crash and you guys don't do anything about it, that's on you. Because it would be the biggest. That's the kind of evidence that you need to run and take over the White House with. Like that's martyrship, and people don't get martyred for nothing. So again, but I don't think there's any. It's too public. It's just like the person who said he's going to get a life insurance policy. Well, you can't do that now. He's come out and said, I will pay for you 100%. You and I'll pay. So he can then go get a life insurance policy, kill us, and then collect the money. That's not how things work. So,
all right, guys.
All right. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yep.
We've got up next. Let me see who we got. Oops. One of these windows. We've got Rate My Audio. Flat Smack.
How's the audio?
Eric. Oh, good. We hear you. We hear you great. Go ahead.
All right, give me a rating on the audio.
7.5.
5 by 5.
Good. I'm happy. I'll proceed. Look, I'm just doing a test. It's some new equipment. One of the Jeranism hall monitors had a complaint about my equipment audio results. So he issued some new equipment from the quartermaster, and I'm trying to figure out if it works. Maybe I did something right this time.
It's pretty good. I would say if there's a volume button, you could give it a little 20% kick up. If such thing exists.
All right, we'll try that. It's a pretty good issue of equipment. So, I get in trouble and it turns out to the best.
Sounds good though.
All right. So happy Father's Day to everybody. Isn't today Father's Day?
I believe no.
Oh,
next week.
Somebody tricked me. I thought it was Father's Day.
I believe it's the 15 or 16.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
but thank you anyway.
All right. Moving on. I missed the 4-minute call clock.
That's on Speaker's Corner.
Yeah. I've been sitting here tapping my fingers. The whole reason I got on here is in case nobody called.
Oh, thank you.
So have you got some other folks? I couldn't see if people were lined up.
Yes, we do.
Good. Now I got to ask a question. Is humor allowed on this call segment?
Not at all. We prefer. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, yes. Go ahead.
I want an appeal to that decision.
You can appeal. You've been granted the appeal, and it's been overturned. Humor is allowed now.
Rejected. Humor is allowed.
It is. It's now been. It's been dictated that I must allow it.
Good. I'm 2 for 0. Or yeah, that's right. I'll keep talking until you want to boot me and put somebody else on.
I wanted to boot you 5 minutes ago, for being honest.
I haven't been on here 5 minutes, and you didn't.
I saw you down at the bottom. I saw your name down there. Just kidding. That's humor. All right, are you good?
Zach, I need a represent. I need counsel, Zach.
Zach's busy.
I plead the fifth.
He's been demoted on the show right now for the next 2 seconds.
Lord.
All right, thanks, Eric. Any final words?
No, wait a minute. I got something important.
What? Then you should have started with that. Let me teach you. Lead with the important thing, and then tell us that you can get rid of it after that.
I added a feature to call it in here. If you notice, it's got a title to the program, to my call.
Rate my audio, flat smack, flurf Eric. Humor on flat earth.
Something else. That's the screen name. There's another feature.
Humor on flat earth.
Right. We need more jokes and humor for flat earth.
I agree. Good point.
All right, now here's the serious thing. If you got to move on, even though everybody else you've been talking to are just running their mouth, and I got a list of notes. I just got to tell you that what's going on with all this pushback and the negative stuff is you've been catching is it's people that haven't listened to what you actually have told them. Because from the beginning, you've explained in detail what your approach is. And so they just hear words that prompt thought patterns or loops they already got in their head. And that's what you're getting.
It's true.
It's not, you're dealing with it fine. It's not important. But the thing is, when I was a kid, an older fella told me, you got to live life knowing the difference between possible and probable. And it helped me a lot then, and it's always helped me. And some of these folks need to hear it. You could walk out your front door and fall in a pit. That's possible, but it's not likely. What's probable is you're going to walk out your front door and go to the car and drive to the grocery store like you intend to. And this situation is very uncertain. And these people that aren't listening and are in a thought loop that they get stuck in because they hear some word that matches an idea they've been having in their head. They are uncertain, and it makes them try to figure out all the possibilities. It's like watching Jeopardy or a TV show. They're not serious about thinking about it. They're just, shooting off. Anyway, I got more unless you want to dump me.
Well, that was really well said. And I think if people understood what you mean. So I guess where you kind of maybe fell off could have filled in a little bit. So you're saying there's a difference between possible and probable. So when something is uncertain, then people look at all the possibilities, not the probabilities.
Well, thinkers look at everything they can say or talk about, but they only say the stuff that, passes the filter. These other people you're catching, they're pushback and negative. They're worried about you. They love you, but they don't have a filter to slow them down.
Okay. I do see that. I see people that I'm like, have you thought this through? Right? Like you're just saying something that, okay. But before somebody messages me and says, well, he's going to take out a life insurance policy and crash the plane, they just should have ran through their head whether that was actually something that I should be worried about.
Right.
Yeah. Gotcha. You can go one more and then we'll go to the Next person.
All right. I got to tell you, I lost track of how many times you announced going to calls before you finally did.
3.
Oh, at least, right.
Eric wants my spot.
That's
Just
it.
so everybody know, Eric's voting for the plane to go down, and then he's going to become Jeran.
No, I'm not available, and I wouldn't be adequate to the task.
I think he could pull
Anyway, I
it
have my
off.
own
You ever
project.
listen to Harry Chapin, Eric?
Well, sure. What are you talking about? Yeah.
You remind me of whenever I listen to Harry Chapin, it's always live in concert because it's just as good, if not better, than the album stuff. But he
Yeah.
tells a story in between each song, and for some reason, I just got a huge blast of Harry Chapin from the way what you were just talking about.
How marvelous. I accept the compliment.
There you go.
He was a brilliant entertainer.
Yes, he was. But yeah, I
So,
think you might be able to
anyway-
pull it off, man. You need to go start you.
What's that now?
You need to go start your show. I think you would do well. Just saying.
Oh, I'll give it a try. Maybe I just sent you an email, so I'll see if we can have a consultation. Jeran's too busy for that these days.
All right, Eric, I'll let you go.
Bye.
Later.
Later.
I think what I want to do, I was just thinking about it, is just Austin and I, when we get there, we should just start running. All right, later, guys, and then just start running towards the south and just watch them all flip out and freak out. Just running towards the south. Like, where are those guys going? I guess they're going for the wall. They're going for the other side. We've got Slow Hand up next. Slow Hand. It's a nice name.
Hey.
What's up, Slow?
Slow Hand.
Can you hear me already?
We hear you.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so you are right about if we do see the sun go behind us, there would be a problem for the model, but the flatness problem remains, the motionless problem remains, the gravity problem remains, etc., etc. So then what? I mean, if we are living on a ball, it should show some curvature, right?
Well, you said if we are living on or we are spinning on. What did you say?
If either, it doesn't really matter.
This
If we're spinning,
observation
we
would
should be able to.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say this observation would, it leads to one model, the other flat versus ball, but it does nothing to the spin. It does nothing to the orbiting the sun. It does nothing to the flying through space at 1.2 million miles per hour. It does nothing to the geocentric argument. So all that stuff is still there. But I see what you're saying. Yes, there is many issues, but that's why, the job of us is to dig through it and figure it out. So even by I'm in two different places here. I want to tell people to dig into it, but when I say that, it makes it sound like it's important. So I don't want it to be important. If you have nothing better to do, think about it. But it really wouldn't be important until we saw that.
Yeah,
right.
Until you saw exactly.
Right.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm not gonna. I hate answering those what ifs. It's
Yeah.
like, well, what if they took you up in a rocket and you looked down and saw the Earth was a globe?
Right.
It's like, yeah, well, what if?
What
you
if the
know?
windows were? What are the windows made? Right. So you don't have to worry about that stuff until it comes to fruition. So for me, I just don't think there's any real reason to look at it. I've looked at it enough in the past and kind of play with it in the future. And you just saw me playing with the ray diagram that there's no easy explanation for the sun going behind you. There might be one. And I encourage people, if they're free time and it's important to them, then go look into it and try and explain it. Because if you could explain it, then we could just dismiss this experiment outright. Because it's like, well, look, no, in this case, we would see the sun go behind us exactly in timing with what, and then it would make sense. But I've not seen that yet.
Okay, fair enough. But then there's these other things that they have been priming us over the years, Project Bluebeam and other holographic things. So maybe this is actually the time when they will roll out something like that. And I'm not a big fan with, these people have not shown any intellectual honesty whatsoever. So I'm really uncomfortable with anyone going.
But have they shown, let me ask you this, have they shown the desire to murder people or the desire to...
No, that's not what I'm saying.
No, I know. I'm prefacing
okay.
that because what I'm saying is, for me also, they haven't shown themselves to be completely honest, but they have not shown... They have acted like I would expect somebody to act, that's sure of themselves that the globe is true because they were taught it and they're not capable of thinking outside of textbooks, and they feel like it would be the craziest thing they've ever seen or heard in their life, if what they're being taught in school, the piece of paper that says, look, I'm MC Toon, I have a degree, I'm smart, if that was actually a lie and they're actually not smart and they actually learned indoctrination and they actually learned the lie, that to them is so shocking that they act like that person to me. Doesn't mean they're right. What it means is that they act like that person. They act like it's okay to call people names and that flat earthers are lesser than them because they really feel like they know the truth. And so to me, it's not like I don't expect them to act completely and totally honest because I've never seen that from a globe believer, to be honest with you. There's globe believers who tell me that they've never observed any evidence with their camera when they do observations that's flat earth leaning at all. That's a blatant lie. I've been out there myself. I've done these observations myself. There's tons of observations that make you go, that's very leaning towards the flat earth. And then there's some that you look at and you go, that's leaning towards the globe earth. So sometimes it's both. And then when you get back and you're showing people, here's this kind of looks like, and this kind of looks like, this kind of looks curved. And then you've got somebody else who comes and shows their footage and they're like, everything I've ever filmed shows the globe. You're like, you're a liar. You're a liar. It means you're not observing. You are actually only uploading what, and we know this. So all those guys who go out and they observe with my transit, my theodolite, and this is what I see, and they would never post something that wasn't globe evidence. That's the difference between the globe side and the flat earth side. That's why they're so shocked that I posted my video of the ISS. Is why they get all excited about it. And Jeran took his video down. It's because they don't understand a person who is promoting the flat earth, but put up a video of the sun going across, the ISS going across the sun. To them, they don't understand that because they don't understand what truth and honesty is. They don't understand that I don't care what I observe. I'm going to post it on my channel, whatever it leans towards. They don't get that because they're like, wait, Jeran should only be posting. No wonder he pulled it down. He pulled it down because they just can't even think for themselves. Like, why would he post it in the first place? Right. So
you know how much shit I got for posting me curving water, still water.
Right. See, you can't do that
from flat earthers. Oh, why are you showing them that?
Sympathetic frequency.
Because it's true.
Right. People that's frightened me about flat earth too. There's a lot of people on our side too that are the same. That they're not honest. They're not coming from an honest position. They may honestly believe it and everything, but if there's anything that goes the other way, they'll muck it up or they'll fudge it. But this is just the case. People going around saying there's no evidence of us seeing too far. Flat water doesn't lie level. It's never, these kind of things are just like, okay. So I guess for me, I just don't totally expect them to be 100% honest because I've never seen it. That's the truth. I've just never seen it. So again,
the only way we're going to figure this place out is if we all share the truths that we find. We need all the pieces to the puzzle.
I agree with that. And again, if it was like, I had to look at the deceptions that I've seen so far. And if anybody's seen big ones, please show me or tell me. But like, okay, Duffy lying to what's his name? Like even my wife was talking to me after and she goes, well, don't you think there's some lies that are told with an intent to deceive? And there's some lies that are told with the knowledge that the person will eventually find out. For instance, if you're going to get engaged to somebody and they ask you, are you going to ask me to marry you this weekend? And you say no, yes, you're being deceptive, but at the same time, it will be found out. You're going to ask them to marry you in that weekend. So you're not really lying to the person with the intent of, like, if you tell a lie, the thought that's probably in your brain immediately is, I hope this is never found out.
Exactly.
But if you're telling a lie with the
knowledge,
right, if you're telling a lie with the knowledge
to surprise somebody, that's different.
Right.
They're going to find out.
But
Exactly.
Here's the other thing I've seen in the chats recently, that if there is daylight all the time, that is the proof. And it's kind of like leading into, how many years did it take for them to acknowledge that the horizon is optical?
It's a great point. What you're saying is so true. That we've been saying this the whole time. And I've seen people in my chat yesterday that were like, oh, now you're saying there's a 24-hour light. Oh, wow, backtracking. Oh, changing the goalposts. Find me saying there's not 24 hours of daylight in the 9 years worth of stuff I've had. I've never said that because I do believe there is daylight.
Yeah, and it's easily you can reproduce it. I was in the car earlier. I'm in Switzerland, so it's already dark, midnight here. So when you like turn the corner, you can see your lights going ahead, around the curve,
right,
along on the side. So why would that not work if there was a firmament, whatever that is? So that's very likely. I don't know if it's true. I've seen it, I've heard it, but maybe there isn't even 24 hours of light. And I have a couple friends in the south. They say sun goes away really fast after 7 in the summer,
Right.
and they can't remember to see the sun any time after 7:30. They are still globers. I don't understand why, but they still believe it's a ball, but they admit there is, like, the sun is gone really, or the daylight is gone really, really quick after sunset.
Yeah, and I've tried to look at it too, because it should be identical, right? On a globe, you should have 50 degrees north, 50 degrees south, opposite ends of the seasons. They should have matching things. They don't. They don't. I mean, we can look at that real quick. I'll actually bring something up, but we've got a lot of people waiting, so we'll do it after. But
It's
go
okay.
ahead.
Thank you for having me on, and looking forward to see Eero in a couple days.
All right, Eru, going to be seeing Slowhand. Later, Slow. We've got Run, Boston, Bear. Thank you for putting up that Austin footage. You did well. You getting your, I don't know what you call it, your grooves going with video making? Oops, hold on. You might be on mute.
Yep.
There
Can
we
you hear
go.
me now?
Yeah, what editor do you use?
Dude, you're gonna laugh. Just iMovie or Final Cut Pro.
No, that's okay. So,
Just whatever.
Apple
just
guy.
whatever I can clip stuff together. And I mean, I'm just learning. Like, so mainly with that, what Jeran's talking about. If you haven't seen on my channel, YouTube, / @Run Boston Bear or Run Boston Bear, whatever, at the end of YouTube. I posted up what happened at the old State Saloon where Witsit did all the talking. Most all you've probably already seen it. If you haven't, he did a 2-day in-person live presentation where he did NASA fraud with a little Q&A after the end, and then Flat Earth 101 with a bunch of questions at the end. And then on day 2, he came back and they did biblical cosmology with a bunch of questions. But I got those videos, downloaded them, fixed some audio issues. There's a few, like if you hear the audio drop out completely, or if you hear audio doubling, that's going to get worked out because however you say it, the Brave Truth channel, they're going to put it out like mastered soon. So if you really want to see that, that's there. But on my channel, you can at least catch Austin in action, just slaying the globe. He really did a great job. And like, I'm going to show my dad probably either the FE 101 or the biblical cosmology, just because it's so, his cadence, he talks slow. It is for a beginner, but man, I think he did a great job. So check it out.
Yeah, I think for sure he did an excellent job. Go ahead. What do you think of this?
Well, so I wanted to also mention that Austin at the Melodome and I this morning at the exact same time, we got our P1000s leveled as they could be, and we got them in the center of our camera. And I don't know, does this give a chance to share screen?
Sure, just hit the present at the bottom.
Okay, share screen. There we go. Entire screen. And go. Let me know when you can see it.
Okay, we got it.
All right. So in wherever Telegram went. Okay. So what was really interesting is it was 10:40 in the morning. This is Austin's picture, and this one's mine. So if you just watch, it doesn't look that different. Now I know he's in Florida and I'm in East Texas, so that's not that big of a change. What we're really wanting to do is
and those were taken simultaneously, you mean? They were around the same time?
Oh yeah. They were snapped at the exact same time. We were on the phone and it's like, okay, are you ready? Yeah, let's take it. So 10:40, you got all the little sunspots.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Now look. Okay, that bottom one is about 6 o'clock. The bottom right of those bottom 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's a different one? Does it rotate a little bit? Now, how level were your cameras? Did you have a bubble level there to make sure that your tripod was perfectly level?
Pretty level, just
pretty level doesn't do it, man.
What we're wanting to do is get to get a device. Get Yeah.
And you can set it. My tripod had one on it. But yeah, that's so important when you're doing this, because this is what I did for 8 months. I was measuring the rotations of the sunspots.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be perfectly, because if you're off just like a degree to the right or left, your image is now off 1 degree of what Austin's might have been. And then if his is off a couple of degrees the other way, then you guys are 3 degrees off, and your data isn't really, it's not, you can't really base any conclusions off of it.
Yeah,
if you
for
don't
sure.
know if it's exactly level. But hey, awesome attempt, first try. I mean, but yeah, just for heads up in the future when you guys do this, make sure the base of your camera is perfectly level, or else the data won't be worth like going through it all that much. I'm not saying it's bad, but when you're dealing with 1 degree here, 2 degree here, you know, these very small increments, though just a slight tilt of your camera can make up that difference right there. Because you guys aren't that far apart. Now, if you guys were like, you know, 800 miles apart, 900 miles apart, east to west, then you're definitely going to see a difference in the rotation. Because that's what Chris and I were doing. He was down in Texas, or he was in Colorado, and I was in Indiana, and we were taking pictures at the same time and seeing what they were like. And they always look different, like the rotation of it, like they weren't in the same spots. So just for further use. But yeah, I love it, guys. Where were you guys like 6 years ago, 7 years ago when this was my life? We were looking for guys like you.
Nice. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, it looks like we might be 1,000 miles apart. So some of the things that we're going to do, of course, we have to get it exact. So Man of Stone, it reiterated like what you were just saying, Zach, that we have to have precisely level cameras, and we actually need to know, like with a sextant possibly, at what angle are we looking at the sun? You know, because we want to see how this all lines out. We were talking today about figuring out exactly what longitude and latitude we're at, and we'd really like to find some flat earthers below the equator to snap a picture at the same time. And if this can turn into like a 4 or 5 person Zoom call or Telegram where we're all on there and we're saying, okay, let's take a picture now, let's show what we got. Because the bottom line is Austin's wondering, okay, are these sunspots going around a spherical sun, or like the other day we had Joe Hamby on the Melodome. It was a really good conversation where he was saying that the moon is actually convex, like a convex lens facing you, and everything. Like the people think that the craters are indentions, but he was saying it's something else, which was really interesting. But like you guys were saying a minute ago, if we work together and we start processing this with new eyes and looking at the data or looking at what we find, we can figure out what this realm is, more so than just believe in the science or trust in the science. So that's why I'm in the game, is just to figure out the truth if we can.
I totally agree. I think that we can get there. One thing I would want you guys to do, that I've thought about doing myself before, is they say, and I don't know if this is true now, with the sun, you can't see the stars behind it, so there's no way for you to do any kind of parallax triangulation measurement. But I do believe they say you can do it with the moon. So if you think about it, if the moon were, say, over somewhere, and then you've got you looking at the moon and you've got Austin looking at the moon, and then you're able to see the stars behind it, they should change to a different location. And then from that, you're supposed to be able to triangulate distance. Oh, no. Well, you would have to have no, you can do it with the angular size, right? Do you know, Zach, or do you need to know it's real? No, I think you can do the distance. I'm pretty sure you could be able to. So you could actually, I've never seen anybody actually do it, but we might be able to. Well, I have seen Red's Rhetoric do it, and then he added in the curvature of the Earth, which gave him. Remember that video that Bob used to always play of TJ, who kind of showed, because basically what happened was Red's Rhetoric did a video where he said, I saw the moon from my location in Florida. This person, my friend, saw it from their location in California. We do the math, and it comes back that it's 237,000 miles away. But what he failed to point out was that he added in the curvature of the Earth. If you took it as a flat observation, California, Florida, the moon, it came back at 3,400 miles, which is what the flat Earth says. So again, I would like to see that done again. I've never seen it done by flurfs, if you will.
Let me throw this idea or thought in, because what else I'm wanting to do, I hope there's a device. I don't know if there is. Maybe Zach can tell me if there is. If we could put something like, know that the camera's level and attach, I don't know, epoxy or maybe even Velcro, whatever, a perfect instrument that will tell the angle, the pitch, the yaw from level. Like if you could level it before you even messed with it. And that way, if Austin's camera is angled at it like this, and mine is a different angle at it, because if we do have an azimuthal grid of vision and he's over there in Florida and I'm 1,000 miles away, the angle to it is going to be different. you know. So
I can.
I have a sextant I can send one of you guys, and then, I mean, you can get one on eBay for probably like $150. It'll be used, and but it's a professional grade sextant that they use out on the water, and yeah, I'd be willing to donate it to one of you guys because I don't play with it anymore. But that's what I
Yeah.
bought it for measuring sun altitude.
Nice.
Yeah, that would be super cool. Maybe send it to me or Austin, then I'll get one. I mean, that's the thing is like if we can get multiple people taking these snapshots, because if we're on the phone at the same time, it's like, okay, guys, let's go, boom, and we're seeing angles and we're knowing. Like, it's not that we're not triangulating the distance to the sun because that may be unknowable. But like if you've looked into Shane St. Pierre's work with the azimuthal grid of vision, all the luminaries, he says, presents to us at 3959 miles, and we're underneath, we're in the center point, and the azimuthal grid of vision even happens where people say the perspective domes happens just because of our ability to see and how we see. So I don't care so much in figuring out how far it is, but if it is 3959, and if it is apparent, then we already know the distance. But if we get people south of the equator, someone way over here taking pictures, maybe we can figure out something that we haven't seen yet. But we do have to, like Zach said, got to be level. You can't have anything off or it just throws all the data off or all the results
I
off.
do have an experiment. If you do find some people south, just all you have to do is go out and take a picture in the morning when the sun rises, one during, or actually just like within 4 hours of midday, when the sun is directly either north or south of you, and then 2 hours before that and 2 hours after that. Now, the way it works, like say you're, 30 degrees north of where the sun is and somebody else is 30 degrees south of where the sun is, those sunspots should kind of do the same thing on a globe. Say if the sun was going over the equator, it's got to be, because if the sun's above or below, it would change it a little bit, but say the sun's going right over the equator, you're 30 degrees north, someone else is 30 degrees south. On a globe, it should look exactly the same, the rotation. Now, it'll be opposite, but the amount of rotation should be the exact same.
Yeah.
Now, if it's a flat Earth model, the amount of rotation will be totally different. Totally different. And yeah, I brought this up, I don't know, a couple years ago, maybe a year ago. And I was trying to get people to do exactly what you're doing now. So I'll help. I'll jump in and take pictures. I have the camera and the solar filter and all that. So yeah, this is a great idea, man. Let
me ask one more thing before I go. I'm going to hop off here. I'm going to share my screen one more time, entire screen. What I'm about to show you, it doesn't count because I didn't have it perfectly level, but let me know when you can see it.
I got it. I got it right now. Go ahead.
Okay. So, and did you see this earlier on your channel, Jeran, where the guy, or have you already talked about this?
Read it to me. I don't think so.
Well, so a guy was saying, if you have, the sun that we know and see, and then if there's a second sun, I think you guys already covered this, and they did artificial cloud cover.
Yes, I did talk about that
in the gap. So that's something that I just had pulled up. But what I wanted to show Zach is this is a picture of the moon taken at like just about 10 p.m. And then the next morning at 6 a.m., I took another picture. So this was rising in the east, and you can see like where the prominent pieces are. And then it moves. I don't know. Can you see my mouse? This little bright spot and this little belly button piece, whatever. You got this angle here. And then in the same night, in one pass, it rotated what appears to be this much. Now, my question is the body itself rotating in the sky like pinwheeling, or is this all optics? Is it just optically looking to rotate because this is when it's setting in the west, rising in the east, setting in the west? What do you think?
It's all perspective. Whenever the moon is directly south of you, it will look the same for everyone. Whenever the moon is directly south of anyone, it will always look the same. That little circle to the top right there at about, I don't know, what is that, 2 o'clock? That will be down by 3 o'clock, around when the moon is directly south of you.
Cool.
And then that other one was when it was that second picture. It was to the west. You said, right?
Yeah. This
So it
is
had
this
rotated
one
even
showing
more.
right now is nighttime before I went to bed as it was rising in the east, and this was in the morning just before it left on the same pass at 6 a.m. So 8 hours.
Yeah, that
difference.
makes perfect sense. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, I had a bunch of pictures doing this. I actually went one night and I did I think it was about 8 hours, where I took a picture every 15 minutes
Wow.
of the moon. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And yeah,
Well, thanks for the time
wagon
and
wheel.
for hanging out and everything you guys are doing. You're legends, and we'll catch up soon.
All right, thanks, Run Boston. We've got
Much
up
love.
next Crazy Doug.
Hello.
Crazy. What up?
How are you?
Good. Do you need me
Hey,
to tell you what to eat today, or you're okay?
No, I already ate. I'm good. So Flattoberfest 2021, there was a speaker there, an ex-military guy, Corey something or other. Zach, you remember?
Yep. Corey Kell.
Yeah. What was his website? Like Test the Sun or something like that?
I don't know. I think
Yeah, let me see.
Did he go away?
Yeah, is he still around? That's what I wanted to know, because I wanted to find out, because he had a lot of that experience of measuring the sun in the desert, and you were talking about the angle
I think he got proven to be wrong, though, if I remember right.
on his theory.
Yeah, because
about
I
it can
think
never be.
he forgot to. I forgot if it's tilt the Earth or something. But when they did that, then it answered all those questions, because he was basically. I remember that guy too, like the 45-degree angle, and you're looking at.
Right.
I have to look back into that.
Well, I went all through Karen's Rockfin channel. I didn't find the video on his presentation. But you're talking about the angle of the sun in Antarctica, and I don't know. I was just thinking about that, and I wondered what he thought about that.
I'll look him up, because I think that he messaged me. Didn't he come on my show at some point?
I think he did.
I think he did too. I have his contact information, so I'll see if what's his latest.
Yeah, because I mean, because you're going to be 89 south or 80 south?
80
south. That's pretty far south. I mean, I hope it happens. I'm with you. I don't think it's gonna. I don't know. It seems like they're trying to get people to do, like you said, bail out and not go, and then they could use that.
I was thinking that too, but it's just weird because, like, the fact that he said, "I'll pay for everything," Maybe that's their even if we pay for everything, they won't go. That might be their direction there, because it would be like if they really didn't want people to go, it'd be better if he said, "Well, I'll pay the $31,000, but you'll have to come up with your own flight down there," and then I would bail because I don't have any money, and then they could use that against me. So that would kind of what I would expect to happen, but instead they're just like, "We'll pay for everything." But I do see why they would do that, because then if I say no, then it's very easy to say I don't believe what I say.
Yeah, I mean, until they hand over money, nothing's happened.
Correct.
Until they've paid for shit, nothing's happened.
Correct.
People need to stop losing their damn minds.
Agreed.
And it's just impossible.
Yeah, people are like, "What if he doesn't pay for everything? What if he?" It's like, relax. We're not there yet. That'll look terrible on him. And guess what? If he doesn't pay for everything, I still no money out of my pocket. I didn't buy anything. So,
like, why worry about things that you can't control? Wait till it happens.
Yeah, I've learned that a long time ago in life. It will drive you crazy, and the amount of time you spend on it's like people who do a consultation with me, and they're like, "All right, please give me your very best exit strategy." I'm like, "Well, if you mean like right now how I would exit out of crypto, I can tell you right now. But as far as I don't think in the future at all, because everything will change. So there's no use in me studying and getting the best method today, because in a week or 2 weeks or a month, it will change. So you don't worry about things that they're just going to stress you out and make you, and it's just going to be all for naught. I'm trying to save my stress points.
Recently.
Yeah, I know. What's going on with Pirate though? I need that one to come back.
Yeah, I don't know. I need to probably have another consultation, because I need to get into a few more things.
You're a VIP, you get half off. How about that?
Yeah, half off of eating oh wait, never mind.
Still
all
too
right,
much.
well, that's about all I had. I just wanted to kind of see if I just couldn't remember his name. And
I think it's Kell, right? Is it Corey Kell?
So at 80 degrees, how far in the sky does it even get?
I believe I'd have to look up the exact. I thought I saw 22 degrees, but I might be wrong on that.
Well, we need to also know what it's supposed to do, or what it does in the north. Like, how high in the sky does it get in the north? Because it should get the same at 80 degrees. I mean, because it should get the same height.
Oh, right. Good point. Good point. Just go look at what it does on the opposite day, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
say,
if
hey,
you're talking
at
December
80 in the north, it should be
14th.
it's 50 degrees or whatever. I don't know the angles.
So it's December 14th. So the opposite of that would be June 14th in the north from 80 degrees. I can do that real quick, I guess.
Yeah, that's something to consider because it should be exactly the same.
Agree.
I mean, the tilt doesn't change, half the year. Like, it's exactly tilted, right?
Well, I was just running some numbers on. I was looking at Dallas and Sydney as far as the sunrise and sunset, and yeah, if you're talking about the opposites, it should. I have 4:53 versus 5:25 p.m. opposite time, so the sun is setting 37. Wait, what is that? 25 plus 7, so 32 minutes later in the north on the same exact date but opposite, and then 8:05 to 8:37, so it's setting 32 minutes later there, and then on the rise 6:19 to 5:40, 39 minutes, and 6:59 to 6:25 is 26 minutes. So already it's off completely. Well, now I got to look into it. What is there a time difference of 30 minutes? Does Antarctica have some people that are on the 30-minute daylight savings? I'll have to check into that. That would kind of.
Well, that's another big, evidence of the flat Earth is just the way time zones are broken up.
Yeah.
And, but I also like the other guy's idea that said, hey, have people going from Australia fly at the same time, because shouldn't there be a way to say it should be this many hours from Australia to Antarctica and this many from Buenos Puentes or whatever it's called?
Buenos Puentes. Oh, yeah, that's a new place. Buenos Puentes.
If they arrive at the same time, or whatever.
Yeah,
They
no, I
should
think
arrive
it'd be,
at the same time.
somebody messaged me today and was talking about that and said something about I got to talk with Duffy.
Aries.
They're just like, well, I heard that there's people that are coordinating with you guys to go from. I'm like, what? I don't know anything about that. I have not talked to anybody. There's nobody coordinating with me. I have not talked to Dave McKeegan. I have not talked to anybody besides Duffy. Just 2 or 3 text messages back and forth, but nothing of any substance.
You said something about not wanting to go hang out with McKeegan. Did you not even consider the Crikey guy? What is his name? The Cricky?
I couldn't do that. I won't go.
He's going. He's one of them.
No, he's not going.
Yeah, that's what I heard. He's one of them.
No, he's part of this. I think people are confused by that scoreboard. That the scoreboard is right. The people that have agreed to kind of go in with this experiment or whatever, but they're not actually going. I believe that the only person going is Dave McKeegan.
Dude better have his mouth taped shut if he goes. Oh my God. Just his voice and.
Are you talking about Creaky or McKeegan? Both
Yeah,
of them. I can't
both
stand
of
that.
them, really.
Yeah, but Creaky, I couldn't do that one.
No, it's too. What is that? Irish or Scottish? I don't remember.
It just seems like such an act to me.
It definitely does. It doesn't seem like who would choose to talk like that. I would get lessons like, "Hey, help me! I can't get rid of this accent. This sucks. I sound like a piece of shit." Anyways, love you guys. Keep
Love
up
you,
the good work.
Crazy Doug. Later.
Peace.
We got RG the
That's
artist
awesome.
back. It's so true though. I mean, you can't. Get your right there. I can't stand it. RG the artist is back. What's up?
Hey, what's good, guys? I'll make it quick. I know you probably have other people. So 3 quick points. I don't know if you know about Bouvet Island. Have you heard of that island?
Bouvet?
In front of Antarctica?
No.
Yeah, Bouvet. It's like Bouvee. So it was. It's a short island, very small, with 2 openings going into it. As far as I can tell from Google Earth. But anyway, the mystery behind it is there's been a lot of.
Can you
recorded,
real quick just move your cord or something? You're getting a bunch of like shorting on your microphone cord or.
Yeah. Can you hear me better?
It's still crackly, but go ahead.
Crackly. That might be my voice. Anyhow, so Bouvet Island is a very, very tiny island right in front of Antarctica, and ever since like the eclipse, it's been recorded, I guess, from balloons above it or something. But anyway, it's very wavy like patterns.
I've seen it myself. There's an 80-foot wave that keeps appearing every couple of days.
Yeah. Well, that was once, I think.
I seen it
the day after the eclipse. But my point is, if no one knows about it, look it up, because on Google Earth it was gone, like blued over, kind of how they do blur things, and on Google Earth. So it was gone for 6 years, and it popped back up in 2023. And there's been multiple things recorded that are like flooding Brazil and the big waves like you were talking about seen over in South America. So it's between South America and Africa, if people don't know, but look it up. Very interesting anomaly with that. Okay, second thing is, damn, don't let me forget. Okay, so what about the cameras and equipment? Do you know or have you done any research if they'll freeze up? Like, are they even usable? If he's got a drone, will it even spin? Like,
I don't know about the drone. I know he said he got permission to use it. I'm the worst drone person ever. I've flown one drone for 3 minutes and I lost it. So that shows you my that I got donated to me because I was supposed to do a review on it, and then I just went on it. Just went across, went forever, and so I won't be driving any drones. But yeah, as far as I know about, because here's the good thing about these balloons I did with Dwayne Kellum is that up high it's negative 67 degrees Fahrenheit.
Right.
So we had to prep all cameras for space balloons with the knowledge that it was going to get that cold. So it will not be colder than that. So the only thing that happens there up high is that the batteries run down much faster, and it's good to keep them warm as possible. So what we would do when we did the Dwayne Kellum balloon is inside of our little cooler, we would put those little hand warmer packs that you buy at, whatever, a sports store or a camping store. And then we would break them all open and kind of put them around the batteries in the cooler box when we sent the balloon up. Now, the thing about that is that's only a 3-hour total thing, right? The balloon's only up for 3 hours. So I would have to look into all that. We would have to get, I don't want to say it's a good thing that Dave McKeegan's going, but he's supposedly the camera expert. So maybe he has different little tools, or because, like, for instance, if somebody told me, well, Jeran, how are you going to get a battery pack for the P900 that lasts all day? I wouldn't even know that. So hopefully somebody has looked into it. I would have to start looking into, is there a battery pack for what's the biggest card that you can have on a P9? I don't know any of those answers.
Hey, or you could ask the people there that you talked to before if there's a way in a spot you guys were able to keep recharging these batteries, like if they have a setup, with the 3-prong.
They do have a
American
setup. They do have an American setup, but they do ask that you, that everybody needs to use it, and there's only like a couple outlets. So I don't know if they would necessarily let us just constantly. In my opinion, I would just buy enough batteries to last the whole time. I would say thinking about charging things is probably a little too much. But for all I know, maybe we could ask them, and maybe Duffy could ask them. But I just think it'd be better to have like a battery bar or some sort of, I don't know. That's why I'd have to ask McKeegan if there's such thing that exists. What would you do, Zach, if I told you, hey, I need you to film 24 hours of footage from your P900? How would you would plug it in, obviously, I guess. Well, is there a way to even?
Yeah,
I guess.
Or just you would have a break, just a quick, what would it be, like 20, 30 seconds where you have to pop out a battery and pop in another one and hit record again.
And then we would have it orchestrated that there's, when you're popping out a battery of one camera, there's obviously 3 others recording.
Yeah, and most of the time you're not just straight, video recording this. It's done in time lapses.
Yeah.
So, it takes a picture every, you can set it different. I know 5 seconds, or every so often it'll snap a picture.
Right.
So you're going to have little tiny spaces in between anyway. So 5 seconds, 30 seconds, as long as you have it time stamped and all that kind of stuff, you can show that how far apart it was.
Yeah.
Switching the battery over.
And it wouldn't be done, and nothing would be done willy-nilly. If let's say I found out that I am going, I would begin practicing immediately at filming the sun, switching the cameras out, switching batteries out. How do I make sure I get back to the settings right? How does this time lapse work? And I think we would orchestrate whose camera would be doing what. All that stuff would be done ahead of time, as far as, well, I'm going to use, because like one thing I think it's important is to use infrared. So probably, since my camera is already converted to infrared, my camera would be the infrared camera. So, then we just go from there. So, okay, now I don't have a P900 to film anything else because it's going to be filming infrared the entire time. Then we would have, this GoPro is going to be doing time lapse, and this solar filter camera is going to be filming it directly. Whatever it is, we would worry about that down the road.
Yeah, if y'all over prepare, I think things will go right. Hey, and I mentioned, or I didn't mention, I'm sorry, I heard it mentioned about the sun simulator and how we might be able to tell the difference in between where it might be if, just some what ifs type of thing. And just over the past month, I've been trying my hardest to find stuff that is authentic that relates to that. That's a visual people can look at.
There isn't one, is there?
Well, if you don't mind, I've got 2 little videos that are like a minute each that shows this thing in action up high from a balloon.
Show me. I want to see. Yeah.
Yes. I'll put them in the chat. This chat, not the YouTube chat, but this chat.
Gotcha. I see it.
And there's 3 video links, but it's only the top one and the bottom one. It's not the one in the middle. So if you go to the first one, click it. I've got it timestamped at 17:48. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just trying to look at what you sent. So I see you sent 2 things, but neither of them are timestamped. So I'll go to the first one.
Well, no. I'll put the timestamp number on there. So the first video you click on is 17 minutes, 48 seconds.
No,
and it lasts like a minute.
I got 31 minutes on the first one.
Yeah, and the second one is timestamp is 46 minutes. And they both only last you.
Hold on a
like
second.
minute or 2.
Just okay. The very first thing that you posted is the one that ends in a 3. I click on that, and it's 31 minutes is the total video. Total video length.
Yeah, but if you go to the timestamp 17:48, then that's where it begins.
Okay, so I've got 17:48 on the first one, and then the second one we're going to go.
The second video is the bottom one because I don't know what the middle one is.
Got you. This is FPU, and then what time to go on this one?
The second video is 46 minutes.
Okay. Got those both queued up. So let's go with the.
And you tell me what you think. One of the videos, I can't remember, but toward the end of it, there are stats of the height, the latitude, longitude. So it tells you exactly where they filmed it at in one of those, which is helpful.
Oh, damn it. Okay.
Because I don't know if these sun simulators are only in China or they're worldwide. I don't know.
Okay, so going to 17 minutes.
And 48 seconds.
Okay.
Clearly know something ain't right, bro, but the veils will keep getting lifted. That will keep happening, but let's not fear.
This video is clearly for entertainment. All right, I'm going to try to answer everyone's questions. Number 1, where is the real sun if the sun simulator is up there? I used to think the real sun at least, was behind the sun simulator until my buddy invited me to his house and showed me his, weather balloon project. What I know and what I see, the sun's right there. The sun's in the middle, y'all. It's in between those attachments that you see right now that's around the sun. And no, the sun is not 93 million miles away. You guys got to get that shit out of your head. It's literally above our heads. It's in orbit. Why would they put that's where the sun is, all right? Up there. Multiple reasons. I can't really tell you exactly why, but, with my experience and all the research I've dug up and read, I would say weapon system. They could be using that weapon, they could be using the sun, taking all the solar energy, using it to, create a laser beam. Like, people's been seeing around the world. People, capturing what really destroyed Hawaii and Chile. That could be one of them. Surveillance, they could be using that for surveillance. They can do anything right now with that shit up there. They can literally do whatever they want to do. They own us right now since that shit's up there. It used to be yellow, now it's white. Me and my buddy come to a conclusion, right? What happens to a shirt that's yellow that's been washed over and over and over and over? What happened to that color? What happens to that color? It starts to fade away, right? They've been talking about this shit since the 60s. We don't even...
Okay, so just want to make something clear. They're saying that sun is the sun simulator, right? But it's the sun. So if they're saying it's a sun simulator, then they're saying that there is no real sun. It's just a fake sun, right?
Well, I think that's kind of his opinion. I don't agree with that. It being between those attachments that he's talking about. But the reason I put this in here is just because it shows some really clear images that obviously isn't our sun, and I don't know, like I say, where it is, exactly what it is, but it looks really suspicious in that one. But there's
so
one.
This
more
is Dwayne Kellum's footage, just so you know. This is Dwayne Kellum's video that somebody's taken. We've talked to Dwayne. I've pointed this out before. I showed people how it could be a source sun that looks like it's projecting into the interior. We look a couple times when it passes by, you can almost see the actual sun or the projector sun. So I don't think that that's a sign of a sun simulator, but I have pointed out before that it looks like it's being projected inside the dome from there. But
right.
Is there any more of this one or go to the other one?
You can go to the other one, and let me just preface this real quick. I was listening to Melodome talk with another guy. He had a guest on the other day that was talking about this certain shape. It was like a cone shape, but the thin ends of each cone were together, and it widened as it went out each way.
Okay.
And in this next video, you clearly see that. So it plays in somehow, but he didn't think it was a simulator. It was just some kind of project they were working on. But
got you. What time do we go on this one? You said 46 something?
Yeah, if it's the second video, 46 minutes even, and it'll start there.
Okay, here we go.
Type energy, because that is the oneness energy that we are receiving right now, y'all. And then I told you again, animals are a teacher. They teach us what we need to know. You know, you don't see animals paying bills. Try to do that. Try to get an animal to pay a bill. Try to get it to pay a mortgage. See what happens. And I said this before.
You know, that is actually crazy. Like, when are animals really against us for real? Because them days not paying no bill.
Are we at the right spot?
Well, there's 3 video links there. The top one and the very bottom one is the ones I was mentioning.
Okay, the top one, very bottom one.
Even right now, y'all. And then I told
looks like it's this one, 46 minutes. Okay.
Yep, even.
Keep going.
Animals are a teacher. They teach us what we need to know. You know, you don't see animals paying bills. Try to do that. Try to get an animal to pay a bill. Try to get it to pay a mortgage. See what happens. And I said this before.
You know, that is actually crazy. Like, when are animals really against us for real? Because them they is not paying no bills around here. They out there hunting.
Hey,
You telling me?
One second. I don't think this is it.
Let me make sure.
It already. Let me refind it real fast. I'll just resend it to this chat because it's not the right one.
Gotcha. And I'll look into this. This. I tend to think. I mean, it's pretty hard to imagine them having a sun simulator that's up in the sky, being held by what I don't know. Certainly, again, and the question would be, if we're seeing the sun simulator, then where's the real sun? If there's no real sun, then I mean, again, I don't want to say I'm giving them God abilities, but then if they can just run the world with a fake sun and no real sun, and then it's kind of like, they can get away
it's
with
hard to
whatever they
believe.
want.
It is. It's a tall tale unless you really look into it and just see that the sun simulator is an actual thing, and then you see what's in the sky recorded by a weather balloon. I mean, you can clearly see the arms of it and stuff like that, and the black kind of dingy black hole in the very middle. But yeah, just real quick, let me grab that one more time, because I think that was the wrong one you were looking at. All right, 1 second. Let me go back here. Okay. It's this one.
Huh.
Yeah, we're not able to hear it over here on just a heads up.
Hear what?
The videos that you guys are playing right now. Here on Skype.
Oh, well.
Yeah, no big deal.
Okay, I'm not playing this one. I'm just waiting for it to come back. But I found this. I just typed in Sun Simulator, and then I found this GitHub page that says Motions of the Sun Simulator. Just weird. And then I'm noticing if I hit start animation, I can show people. Let me move this over here. I'm just watching this show animation. What's weird about it is that it's showing the hula hoop moving like weird. That I never noticed that it did that before. Because this is kind of my explanation for the azimuth telescope. What are they called? The azimuth mount.
Azimuthal equidistant.
Yeah, just the one that
Or no, the azimuth. Yeah, the. Oh.
Azimuth mount, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Does he come back? Somebody come in. Let's go back over here. One. Here and here. Nope. Upside down guy.
Hello, Jeran.
Hello, sir.
Are you worried about aliens when you go to Antarctica? Zero. Well, there's this movie called The Thing where there's an alien in Antarctica, and it's like it morphs. It's like almost like a doppelganger. It can morph into and clone people.
Okay.
And I don't know if you're aware of this. Like, you might come back as like the new Dave Chappelle clone.
You would know right away.
So we need to come up with a safe word.
Okay.
So when you come back, I can verify, or we can verify that it's you.
Can the safe word start with a B?
It can't be boobs.
No. It can't be. That's against
But yeah,
in the book.
yes, it can't be boobs.
Okay. Damn it.
Okay, but
Too obvious.
speaking of the thing, it's plotted in winter of 1982, and in the winter in Antarctica, is it supposed to be full-time darkness, like
Correct.
no sun in the winter?
Yes, I want to be careful about saying that because I've already seen people show videos from Antarctica where they're like, look at the sunsets. And then other videos where they're like, look, it's supposed to be dark, but it's light. You have to remember how close you are to the center of it, right? So the only place it would get all dark for 6 months technically, which is not even true, would be at the pole. And then as you work away from that, it would change. So you may not, for instance, if somebody says, oh, I was down in Antarctica for the summer and the sunset, that doesn't mean anything because there's places in Antarctica that the sun would set during the summer. It just so happens where this location is the 80 degrees, it's not supposed to.
Yeah, I was just like, I booted up the thing earlier, and because I remembered in the beginning it said the time, and I thought it might have said the month that they were down there, but it just says winter 1982. But then there's like sunlight and sunset, and I was just like, what's going on? And then I started getting worried that you might get abducted by an alien slug or something.
Let's hope not.
So you're not scared of aliens?
I am not.
All right.
Should I?
Should you? I don't know. I think it'd be a fun trip. Are you for sure going?
Nope. And I don't think I would call it fun, but
I think you should go skydiving. I think you should, show, like, let your pride hang out and actually, like, all right, no one can kill me. I'm going to go skydiving and see the penguins.
Somebody could easily cut the parachute or not pack it. It's pretty easy to do that.
You could probably take your own parachute. Pack your own is what they say.
I probably don't trust myself to do that. I'm a little bit more careful than that, but I get your point.
I mean, you got to do something. You got to at least go see a penguin.
Yeah,
you're gonna regret it if you go down there and you don't.
No, I think that let's say I did go down there, like the scenery and alone, the flight in, the flight out, watching the sun do whatever it does, whether it's set, whether it's going around your head, all that would be life changing, really. So it's not a matter of I need to do anything else. I don't need to ski.
That's like going on a cruise and not doing an excursion. That's like going on a cruise and just seeing the shoreline or something, or if they force you off.
I went to the cruise in Mexico, and it's like the least fun part of that trip was walking around Mexico. So
there's excursions.
Oh, excursion! Yeah, it was raining, so we couldn't go on our one.
I vote you either skydive to show how brave you are and you're not worried about dying.
I don't claim to be brave
go
about
see the
skydiving.
penguins.
I've never said I'm brave about skydiving. I don't even like roller coasters, so it tells you how brave I am.
I'm afraid of heights, so.
Oh, so
I would probably hyperventilate as soon as they opened up the plane door and they made me look down. I'd be that person like, oh no, I'm not doing it.
Me and you will just sit on benches and watch other people go on roller coasters. All right, we're gonna let you go.
Take it easy, man.
Oh,
good luck.
RG was here and he left. RG, give you 2 minutes to come back. Otherwise, we got to go. It's already 4. But I don't know where RG went. RG, see if he comes back in. He was going to get us a new link. All right, we'll go around. Is Ira back? I doubt it. Ira? No Ira. Zach, go ahead. What do you have coming up this week?
We're hoping to do GLOBEBUSTERS Tech. It all depends on if Chris Van Matre has his internet up and running yet. He lives in the Houston area, and from that storm they had, they're still trying to get that place put back together again. If not, we'll cover something else. I know the last 2 weeks we've showed reruns, so we'll find something to talk about this week. But besides that, I'm working on some new stuff for Flattoberfest. I'd like to make that plate that vibrates and shows the frequency patterns. I'm working on that right now. I'm trying to find a nice big speaker that I could pull apart. The scientific shaker or whatever they call the thing. They're expensive. and I don't want to spend $270 on a thing I'm going to use, once or twice a year.
Right.
So there's ways to do it without that. You can do it, but it'll make some noise, stuff like that. So I might have to buy a big box of earplugs for people when they're over by us. We'll see how loud it is and stuff like that, and if I can muffle the sound a little bit. But yeah, we're getting ready for Flattoberfest. I'm excited. And a Bueller's Tube. I don't know if you've seen that one before. I'm going to try to do that one as well, add it to the demonstrations.
I have seen it before.
Yeah, that's one's pretty cool. You can play music in it, and it shows the frequency patterns going through it. Really neat stuff.
All right. I've never seen this thing. It's pretty cool. I don't know if you can see it, but you can change the date, the time, and then you can move this little bar, and it will show you what to expect, I guess, the sky from each latitude.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, I've never really seen it that I've been able to play with like that. And then you can just hit start animation. And so this is supposedly from the south. I'm a little bit confused. Wouldn't it be only the South Pole? But I guess this whole line is the South Pole in a Mercator projection. And then with each, oops, I hit loop day. How do I get out of there? Loop day. So then this is just showing that if we moved a little faster, technically this is what it should be doing. We move it super fast. Does it make it move with the date? I guess it's not moving the date. Oh yeah, it is December 24th, 25th, 27th. Well, why is the sun not heading towards the equator? Weird. Okay, I'd have to check. The sun should be dropping because it needs to get to the horizon by, I don't know what's going on. But anyway, that is a GitHub. What did I search for? I think I just searched sun simulator, and the first thing that comes up is that. Anyway, oh sorry, third one. GitHub Motions of the Sun Simulator. Motions of the Sun Simulator. Oh, I was just playing with it. Same thing. Different kind of setup. All right. Thank you guys so much for this week. There's a debate on my channel on Tuesday between Stone and what's the guy's name? Oh, Demon Stride, who's a guy from Discord. And then we've got we did Speaker's Corner this week, and then my show will be on Friday. And I think I've got something else on Wednesday, and I can't think of what it is off the top of my head. But if you guys have questions, comments, complaints, concerns, head on over to Telegram. t.me/jeranism is the best way to reach me. Would love it if you became a VIP. It's kind of been fun. We've got crypto classes every other Friday night from 6 to 8 p.m. We usually have a presentation, or you can just ask questions or talk. And then on the first and third Saturday of every month, we have the VIP only hangouts. And the first month we had Dave Weiss join us. The second month we had Rose 777. Last Saturday we had Austin Witsit, and this coming Saturday, the 15th, we've got Conspiracy Music Guru. So my promise is for every one of these VIP hangouts, we'll have somebody cool from the community who joins us, and it's just a place you can ask questions and talk and laugh and listen to Eric's shitty mic. So what's better than that? Except for he got a new mic now, so I guess we're over that. Let's see who just popped in here. Maybe it'll be RG. I maybe lost him. RG's back. All right, RG, what's up?
Hey, what's up, guys? I finally I had to go back through. That was the wrong timestamp. My bad.
Okay.
So I re-uploaded it in the chat. It's 33 minutes 52 seconds.
33.
That's when it starts. And I've got several other ones like that I've had to dig to find. If y'all want to see them, I can send them to whoever. But I don't know.
Are you on Telegram
right now? Yeah, I've got a Telegram account.
You should post them in the GLOBEBUSTERS group.
Oh yeah, true that.
Okay, we'll watch this.
Do that. I think I've did a couple, but there's so many messages that come through on those, especially yours and Melodome. Man, this things get flooded quick.
That's why I don't want to. I'm not trying to just push my VIP, but the VIP is notably better because it's only the VIP members.
I did that last night, bro.
Oh, cool, sweet.
I'm on it.
All right, here we go.
So
I know y'all love the sun videos. Y'all gotta see this one. And look at this bird flying around. Look at this, y'all.
What does
this
it
was
look
in
like
New
a
Jersey
CD?
just a few days ago. Why it looks like there's another sun behind this sun?
Yeah,
and then
it does.
This eye right here in front of the sun. There's something else behind here.
And it almost look like an eye too.
This is
This is what
There's
Sean.
another light.
I
and then
can't
there's a
tell.
black dot.
Talking about.
I couldn't tell if
Okay,
you're talking or the video. It's you. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I said something. I said this is exactly what Sean from Kingdom and Context was describing. You'd have to see that stream, but go ahead though.
I mean the little circle.
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen it before. When this is
Talking about
back.
the eye in the sky, you know, that
Yeah.
Illuminati eye. I think that's what it goes back to.
Okay.
Out in front of
Something like that.
Yeah, 2000. I forgot if it was 12, 13, 14. When we were at the Miss and I were out filming the transit of whatever that planet was. I don't remember if it was Venus or Mercury. At this point. Mercury.
Yeah.
And because the sun was behind some clouds, it was weird. We saw like an inner small darker circle like that. Let's keep on.
Yeah.
the sun. And now look at this one.
What are you?
Do you guys see this huge thing over here? What? Oh my God! And here they come. Here they come doing what they do.
Right,
Look at
spraying
that,
the
y'all.
sky.
It looks like an eye.
Hey,
They're
you
watching.
know, they really get on my nerves when they do that. You know,
You guys ever seen the shadows that clouds put above it?
Yes.
It's crazy,
yes.
huh? It looks like there's like it's a dome, and that somehow the light
It's
is
another light source. It's somewhere.
shadowing the.
It has to be.
Yeah, it's so weird because how else would you have? You can actually see it here, like you see the shadow above it.
Mm-hmm.
right
So,
now,
wow,
the good weather. How y'all weather is out there? Let me know. Some good weather these days. I'm not gonna.
Nice, huh?
And I feel like people, we all have basically HD cameras in our pockets. I know it's hard to necessarily film all the time, but there's enough people filming out there that we should catch everything. And then also, if you see somebody show you something on Instagram or on TikTok, and there's only one person that shows it, you can pretty much guess it's probably not real. Like the guy that shows like a face next to the moon. If that was, then everybody would film that, you know, at least a lot of people. So, but again, I'm not saying any of it's fake because I wouldn't know. It's just I have to try and look at everything and just say, is this really worth pursuing? Because if it's just one person, it's so easy to fake things.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. But you know, like you say, I like trying to put it out there and see what people think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only right that you know we help each other figure this out, man, because it's a big mystery. It's a lot. I think it's more simple than what we've believe. Like everything's so complicated that we can't understand it. We need a PhD or a doctorate, whatever, to tell us. And it's like, no, bro. Like it's not that. You know, it's not that. And what confuses us is the way we're taught that our eyes work and stuff.
Right.
And it's not 100%.
And the way that they trick us with, like I was talking about last night, but optical illusions. People always say your eyes tricky, your eyes play trick on you. It's like, no. Once they learned how our eyes work and what our eyes do, then somebody went and devised optical illusions that are meant to fool your eyes. So people are like, well, I can't trust my senses because, well, yeah, you mean because somebody went and designed something that fools your eyes? That's not the same as not trusting your senses. It's like I tell people, if somebody put a bowling ball on a door and leaned it kind of a little bit so that when you walked outside of it, the bowling ball fell on your head, that's not okay to then say, well, we can't trust our senses. It's because somebody tricked you. Right. Somebody put the bowling ball. Yeah. It's not your senses' fault. That's because somebody tricked you, and you can trick people's senses. Same thing with optical illusions. They're always like, well, we can't even see things. Have you ever looked at those optical illusions where the dot disappears or you think it's wavy? Or somebody learned our eyes and then they're tricking them. That's all that is. But
yeah, I, in my opinion, I mean, if it's all right to say this, you know, about the sun, is I don't think it travels in perfect circles. You know, the Book of Enoch kind of describes these rigid, like 90-degree movements almost. It seems like it will go to one area of the sky, then it will go in this gate, and it will go and pop out from another gate. You know, and the model that was made about how the sun in 1 year travels in this circuit that goes up, like almost getting more toward the north. It goes up higher because of the dome shape. And then it gets, you know, lower during the traverse of the outside, like the southern. When y'all are going, you know, during the summer, it's going to traverse more further south, but lower. That, you know, 13,000 feet is what was recorded in an encyclopedia, right? Like,
and I kind of agree with that because if you think about it, like I've always wondered, why do they say that the sun is closer in our winter? It makes no sense. Clearly the other day, I mean, it's 105 every day now where I'm at, and you can walk outside, the heat from the sun is coming directly from there. It's really close. So for me to believe, oh, that's further than it is during my winter is insane. But then I think, Well, there have to be a reason for them saying it. And I think the reason is because the spiral that you're talking about does put the sun closer during their summer, our winter, because it's closer to the Earth physically. So again, it's farther away from me because it's off into the south. But I'm just saying that then it kind of made sense to where, okay, I could see that. I could see where the angular size of the sun is probably bigger during our winter.
Yeah. When the sun's to the south, it's bigger, and when the moon is to the north, it is bigger. That's another one of those weird ones I can't wrap my head around.
Right. All right, guys. Well, it's been fun. Thank you very much. I'm gonna let you go. RG. I always like doing these call-in shows. They're good times.
Hey, and I just wanted to say, literally from the bottom of my heart, guys, this is something that's not just the trip, but this is built over 9 years, a pretty tight-knit group of people that can trust each other. And I think that's the only reason it's went this far, so is because you get familiar with people over time, and there's somebody new that comes along. You have to really get to know them in a way, to be able to pass this kind of information back and forth and no one be biased. They're open-minded. That's the good thing about this community. But anyway, I'll give it up there and appreciate you guys. I hope y'all have a good night.
All right. Thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah, I would say that's the way I would want it too. I mean, I get a little shock the last couple of days. I get it. It's a sticker shock to everybody and it's new but I do think there's this addiction to like doom and gloom in this community a little more than there should be. Just that, the elite will always rule us and they always win and that we can't defeat them and that we're always, and I just don't like that kind of attitude. I feel like we can come together. We can get things right. We can, really win. I think that
we are winning.
Yeah. Thank you.
We're defeating them.
So when it is discouraging when people are just so negative about something that they, again, I get it that we've been lied to. We've been fooled. There's a lot of people in weird places doing weird things, but somebody who's tried consistently to be honest and I'm talking about myself here for 9 years to just hear somebody say like, oh, he's going to pull a ranty. Oh, he's doing a flip flop. It's just really not giving me any credit. It's like basically saying that everything I've ever done is just worthless, which is hard because it's taken stuff away from my life. It's taken a toll. So my only hope is that people would recognize that I'm the same person I've always been, and I would never just flip flop like Ranty literally chose one photograph, okay, and said, "Oh, this photograph proves." Even though he had spent all this time showing us all these photographs that showed the flat Earth, then he showed one that he said, "Hey, this photograph," that never made any sense to me. But if you're talking about if Ranty went and saw the sun go behind him, and flip flopped. That should immediately cause us all to go, what? We need to look into what. So what he did doesn't call for anything. He just said, oh, now I believe the globe because this one photo. We went and looked at the photo. We're like, wait, this one photo, it doesn't show anything. You can easily be due to perspective. There's lots of reasons why one thing would be higher than a hill, whatever. But just to dismiss it all. But for me, if he went down there and said, oh, I actually saw the sun go by my head, that's why I flip-flopped. That would be something that would I wouldn't just chalk that up and be like, oh, well. I would say, wait a second, you saw what? Okay, now I need to look into this because if you saw that, I see why you flip-flop. So there's just a big difference and again, maybe my bad is by entertaining the thought, but it makes me feel more honest if I'm saying, if I see this, then this, and if I see this, then this. But people take that to mean, I think I'm going to see the sun go around my head, which is completely and totally wrong. I don't think there's any chance of me seeing that, but I can't necessarily just say that. I'm trying to be unbiased in the fact that I'm going to go down there and I'm going to observe. Either I'm going to see this, or I'm going to see that. If I see this, it leads me this. If I see that, it leads me there. That's just being honest. Now, it doesn't mean that I think it's a 50-50 chance or anything like that. People read into it too much. And then what I see is this position that I don't think you could take unless you do believe there's a 24-hour sun there, which is the one that says, Jeran's going to go down there and flip-flop. Then what are you saying? That I'm going to go down there and see the sun go by my head? Because if you're thinking I'm going to go down there and not see that and flip-flop, then you're just not being honest. You don't think I'm going to do that. It doesn't even make sense. So think before you speak. If you really feel like I'm going to flip-flop, then that's you admitting that you think there's a 24-hour sun, in which case, what have you been doing for 9 years? So I haven't heard one. Go find me somebody at any point in the past before this came out. So you have 9 years worth of flat Earth videos. Find somebody say that there is a 24-hour sun in Antarctica and it doesn't matter. You won't find it because we've all been on the same page that there is no 24-hour sun in Antarctica. So now that somebody comes out with experiments, says go down there, it doesn't look good for us to start pulling that. Well, it doesn't matter if there is a 24-hour sun. But, well, okay. Just like we've been saying that there is no curved water, it'd be like you guys now saying, well, it does. I mean, if just because water can make a sphere, a very large sphere the size of yours, doesn't mean it. No, there's problems with that, right? Their excuse is always, oh, what about this little drop of water? We're like, no, we're talking about any substantial amount of water. Even if you look at the ISS, which is probably done in a parabolic plane, they can't even get a ball of water to stay firm if it's bigger than a basketball. Yet they tell the Earth does it. Just doesn't make any sense. All right. Any final words, Zach, before we head out?
Yeah, good stuff. I love seeing the people. I would love to see somebody go down there just to gather data. I would love to know what goes on down there.
And I wouldn't
just
care
that
if it's not
alone
me.
is worth it.
If people are frustrated enough that it's me, please email Duffy and say who you think should go. I don't mind if it's not me. And then based on who it is, I'll decide whether I'll put any backing to it. And you should do the same. If you're like, I don't like Jeran, I don't trust him, then don't even pay attention to this experiment. And anything I come back and say, don't put any stock in it. It's very easy to do. That's how I handle things.
Don't nominate me. Not going to go.
Zack and Cami are going to go down there. No, probably not.
God, it's so cold.
It's
I moved to South Carolina to get away from that.
It's very cold. But right now, this is a sad thing. Maybe I'm only feeling excited about going because it's summer now here in Merced, and it's like 105, and I can't wear pants, and I'm dying to go in the pool right now. I'm just like, come on, get it in the pool. So maybe that's why, as I'm just thinking, like cold would be welcomed right now. Till I got down there and realized that you can't even breathe in, or else your lungs freeze, and then you're like, this sucks. All right, much love to you guys. Thank you everybody for the super chats. Real quick, can you read the ones on Rockfin? I'm just going to go to the fan funding here on YouTube. I think I saw a couple. Oh, we got Tone Blair says, if you can pull it off, you definitely should go and take a chance. It'll either be what we think or what they think. You'll find out. Well said. I do agree with that. And it just, one thing that bothers me, we've been doing this for 9 years. 0 people have gone to the south. 0 people have gone to the north. That's a little frustrating. That's what I am afraid of most, is that I think sometimes they scare us to the point that they don't even need to do anything. If you just scare everybody away from the 2 places that we know that there would be truth, then they don't even need to fake anything. They don't even need to, don't go north, don't go south. So I do think that it's possible that we can get somebody to do that, go north or go south. And I think that we'll uncover a lot. You know what's weird is, I want to play this just because I thought it was weird. So I wanted to go back and listen to, was it? I don't remember if he said us though. I went back and listened to that debate that we originally had with Austin and Will Duffy, and this is back in January, I think, when he came on for a debate with Austin. And at the end, he said something really weird. Let me see if we can find it here. I want to see if I find it. At the end, he says that we will do something that changes the world or something. Do you remember him saying that? Let me see if I can find it. The moon before and after the solar eclipses. Is it right?
But they just went out there and they took their chances
against society.
The moon is many degrees. The moon is way higher.
Yeah, I do think that's an optical illusion, but I don't understand that. So it's a good point.
Okay. Cool. But we'll let you say your final words if you got a
we have a couple
outro,
tips over on Rockfin.
Where
We
they can
have
find you, or if they want to join.
AI or Al, I'm not sure. Tip $20 said, can I offer an alternative to the adoption metaphor?
Yes, please. It's the best one we have, but I would love a new one.
He said, don't knock on my door to tell me my house is on fire unless you brought the fire brigade with you. Thank you so much for the profound service you do.
Okay. So he's basically saying, just like Globers say, oh, how does the universe work? Because they don't want to know that they've been lied to unless we've got the answer. So he's saying, don't come to my house and say that the house is on fire because you haven't brought the answer yet, which is the fire.
You haven't brought the fireman with you.
Yes. Yeah. It's good. I don't know if it's as good as the adoption, but it's close. Espires? Is that what this is? Esprits. Wait, hold on. I think it's Espress. ESPRES. Thank you very much. $50 super chat on YouTube. Very nice. You very kind. Great support of the show. All right. Anything else there?
Yeah, we got Dakota Dunn tip $50. Thank you, Dakota.
Dakota
says, I missed the entire show until now. Spent a couple hours at painting class with my daughter who's visiting from out of town this weekend. Excited to listen to the first part later tonight. Thanks for all you guys do. Love you guys and take care.
Awesome. Love providing entertainment for people.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Any other ones?
Nope, that's it over on Rockfin. Thank you guys so much. Love ya.
I'll find that part of the video because I don't see it here with Duffy, and I'll play it next time. But it's just kind of weird because he's talking and then he says, I do think that flat earthers will do something or discover something that will change the world. That's what he said. I don't know what he's talking about and why he brought that up during the debate, but it's kind of weird. All right. Much love to you guys. I'm going to go swim. If you want to check Google Earth, find my house, look in the pool, maybe you'll see me. All right. Much love to you guys. We will talk soon. Do your own research. When you do, you'll never again believe all the bullshit you've been taught. Till next time, this has been GLOBEBUSTERS. Much love. Peace.
Peace.